see the usual gang of misfits and dope addicts are here.
Well, it's been some time since I've heard that song,
It has been, hasn't it?
and I wonder. It's because okay,
On this day,
on this day.
Eddie Grant was born in 1948.
And he's the one who did this song?
He did that song.
Okay.
Electric Avenue.
What else did you? What
Well,
else
I
would
don't
he
know.
have done?
I'd
I'm sure
forgotten.
he did other things.
Oh, he
I'm
did
sure
lots of
that's not
things.
the only thing he did.
I believe he's still around.
Yes.
And I like that song.
It has one of the best good gods in it. Good God! You know, there's songs with good God
Just
in it.
like War. What? Good,
War.
Yeah.
Good God. y'all.
Good God, y'all.
Yeah. It has one of the best good gods.
We should
Like top 5, top 10.
Okay, all you little busy beavers
Good
out
gods.
there, somebody do a sound montage of all the good gods you can find in songs.
I bet
me
it's
think
already out
somebody's
there.
already
Let
done
me
it.
look.
Electric Avenue. It was. I just looked up some stuff about it because I thought I hadn't heard that in a long time. What is? I mean, it's obviously about taking to the streets and changing things and fighting. And but I thought, and it says, what is Electric Avenue named after? A street. It's actually a street in the Brixton section of London. There's a street called
Electric Avenue.
Yeah, and
We should rock on down there and check it out. That's how you get to. That's how you get to Electric Avenue.
you know,
You
no-
rock on down.
No, but you also have to take the Circle Line, which is really
That's not in the song.
The Circle Line is a pain. Well, but I've been there, so it's a pain in the ass. You get on the Circle Line,
I do get on the circle line.
you go down in the tube, and you get on the Circle Line, and then. So anyway, Electric Avenue, Eddie Grant. Let's see, is he still alive? You wanted to know?
I'm
It
sure
says
he
here.
is.
His name is Eddie Grant Edmund Montague.
Montague.
He's a Montague, and he is a he was
Yeah.
Oh, he actually had a band,
Oh, yeah.
The Equals,
Reggae.
and there you go.
Reggae music.
Did you guys see my amazing lash cam? We just went right past it.
Can we see it again?
The amazing lash cam. X96.com.
So we go from rioting in the streets against social
Slash
injustice, and Gina wants to look at the lash cam.
It happened and we didn't mention it. Just gotta.
Do we have to mention it?
Yes.
Well, it'll happen again, not now, but in an hour.
Yeah, but we
And
have to
X-
mention it this hour.
Do we have to mention it when it happens, or we just? Well, then warn us. Coming up, the amazing lash cam. We'll just base the whole show around that. That'll be great, Gina. Good idea. So I've.
Oh,
Lash
the lash.
cam.
Oh, I like it. There's a sound.
There you go.
Lash cam. There we go.
Brought to you by the NRA and Dana Lash.
No.
Oh no. Brought to you by
Amazing.
Amazing Lash. Just Eddie Grant, by the way, the song Electric Avenue, I found a version of it by Powerman 5000.
It's the other thing they did.
I wonder if it's any
Color
good.
me interested.
I wonder if it's any good. I'll see if I can send you a link to it in a few minutes.
I'll
all
bet
right?
I can find it pretty
Oh, you
quickly.
probably can, yeah. Powerman 5000, it's from their album Jump in 2011. We'll get the show started with your check-ins in just a couple minutes.
We have
Officially begin the
giveaway
program.
for the check-ins too, if that spurs you into calling in.
Disney on Ice. And I don't know exactly when the opening night is. We'll tell you coming up. But I think opening night tickets there's a really inexpensive, cheap deal for tickets.
I will
on
tell you
opening
about all that in just a moment.
Just quickly, Brian Martin on KSL. You know, I take back every mean thing I said about
Really?
him because of this really incisive bit of commentary. They had a story this morning about a family, and I'll see if I can find it. Maybe, Jeannie, you can find it, that an entire family that witnessed and was partially buried in an avalanche.
Wow.
And it was a very dramatic story. And Brian Martin on KSL said after that this morning, you know, a whole family buried in an avalanche. That's something you sure would never want to have happen. You'd never want to have that happen to you.
Wow.
And it wasn't a whole family; it was a
just-
couple, and they're fine.
But
But
that
I mean, it was
that was
very
pretty
dramatic, though.
insightful.
Yeah, it was very dramatic.
I
It
hadn't
was-
even thought about that. New
Bar-
Grant.
Barshall- they got out, but
Wow,
but
look at New
that's-
Grant bringing the insight.
That's something you'd never want to have happen.
Well,
to
he's
you.
a journalist.
Yeah, being a newsman.
He's
He
the
doesn't
newsman
say-
in him.
He doesn't say journalist. He says
right,
newsman.
newsman.
I'm a newsman. This is Power Man.
Yeah.
You gotta hear electric. You can't stop till they say Electric Avenue.
Okay.
That may be why. Huh. Now, what do they do? I wonder if they stop this and. I don't know. I don't like this. Yeah.
You should open the show with that tomorrow.
No, okay.
Nah.
That's, you know, they almost were a good band.
No, they weren't. They had one sort of
No, but-
maybe song a long time ago.
But if you listen to that song, they could have made that better. That's a good song.
They could have-
but they
we
just
expect
missed
better from you,
Yeah.
Powerman 5000.
They just missed it. All right, let's get it on. We'll officially be in the program. Take your check-ins, 877-602-9696. That's 877-602-9696. Call and check in with the Radio from Hell show. Tell us what you're doing, and you might win Disney on Ice tickets when we officially begin the program.
Ranlife.com.
The Rand Life Civil Service Grant. Well, let's we know we're going to do check-ins. That's what we're going to do
That's
here.
what we're doing.
We'll get to the
I
traffic.
see what happened.
Starting the show, brought to you by LASIK at Hoops Vision. Now this resolution is easy. Ask about 24 months, zero interest, and their See Clearly guarantee. Schedule your free LASIK consultation, 877-30LASIK or hoopsvision.com.
All right, the moon is a waning gibbous moon, 85.3% of full. We won't have a full moon until March 31st. The moon will set today at 9:13 a.m., today being Monday. It's the 5th day of March in the year of our Lord, 2018, and this is North America's heaviest radio broadcast.
What do you mean?
Well, in terms of gravitas,
Okay.
we are the heaviest.
Because I
But
can think
if
of
we
some
now-
morning shows that
if-
are heavier than
Well, if we go to weight, I'm afraid I'm the major contributor to that. It is the Radio from Hell show, starring the Lords of Morning Radio, Kerry Jack Jackson.
Oh, yes.
Put on the hat, man. I'm Bill Allred. Hello. That's Gina Marie. I only got 3 hours of sleep. I was here first. Barbary. And the senior executive producer of the Radio from Hell show is Richard. I'm waiting for him to die. Stedman. Dylan Allred is producing video for the show that you can see at x96.com/live. Yes, indeed, you can see us live in the studio if you've got the stomach for it. And the senior intern is Nick's your buddy, Nick's your pal, and there he is. So we've got your check-ins.
Check-ins are brought to you by Follow Your Heart Straight to Adventure at Disney on Ice, playing Vivint Smart Home Arena for the first time March 8th through the 11th. Just keep swimming with Dory and Hank, cheer with the emotions from Inside Out, and venture into wintry Arendelle with Elsa, Anna, Kristoff, and Olaf. Make unforgettable memories with Mickey and your favorite Disney characters. Opening night tickets start at just $10, and I believe we have some to give away to a random checker inner.
So we only have one person right now, Michaela, at 877-602-9696, but the lines are open, so go.
I know why.
Why?
We didn't play this.
Be a part of the Radio from Hell show on X96. Call 877-602-9696 or text us at 33986. Message and data rates apply.
Watch the phones light up now.
There we go.
Yeah.
Well, let's begin. Let's go with Michaela checking in. Hello, Michaela.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
What's up with you today? You sound chipper. Michaela?
Oh, hang on, Michaela.
Oh, hang
there
on.
We go. There we go.
Now,
All
you,
right,
now you
everything's
can hear
working
us. So,
Hello, can you hear me?
yes, you sound chipper this morning.
Well, good morning. Thank you.
Yeah, what are you doing?
I'm actually just headed into work. I've got 2 jobs, so I just go in early so I can make it on time to my next one.
Oh, boy. What are your 2 jobs, Michaela?
One of them, I work in customer service downtown, and the other one, I'm a barista.
Ah, now, so customer service is a thankless job. It's people want to yell at you and people want to be upset with you all the time, and that's terrible. But being a barista, is that better than customer service?
They definitely have their pros and cons. I'm definitely up on my feet a lot more as a barista than I am in customer service. But I like being a barista because I get to meet a lot of people and give out a bunch of dog treats. So it's pretty fun.
Oh, I know where you work.
You work at one of the Cafe Expressos, the drive-through places?
No, it's actually Beans and Brews.
Yeah.
Oh, Beans and Brews. But the Expressos do that too, don't they?
I don't know. I don't think so.
So, Michaela, one other quick question for you. Wouldn't it be nice if you could be a sit-down barista? Maybe you could be Salt Lake's first sit-down barista.
I would love.
Okay.
Oh, we lost
And
you.
she's gone.
Thanks for
All right.
checking in, Michaela.
Thank you.
Sounded like a very nice person. I like
She's
let's
got a
go-
good attitude.
Let's go to Dustin the Hatter. Hello, Dustin.
This is, you've had it for Bill, haven't you, Dustin?
Yes.
I have. How are you guys?
We're doing well,
Good.
Dustin. How are you?
Exceptional. Just driving the old Salt Lake Salter,
The Salt Lake.
doing my thing. I felt real bad, when they said there's only one person in the line. I felt like I have to keep this going.
Well, thanks, Dustin. Dustin, what do you mean you're driving the Salt Lake Salter?
Oh, as I got a new job for the Salt Lake School District,
Oh.
I do grounds, and so they got me driving a salt truck.
And you're still making hats.
I am. Yeah, I've got a flea market show this weekend. If you guys want to come out.
Where's
A
that?
flea market show.
Where at?
Yeah, the Urban Flea down there at the Gateway. I'll be down there selling my hats. But if you guys want to come by, I'd love to make Gina and Carrie a hat. Love to do it for you guys. So we'll have to meet up sometime.
I could use another hat.
So the Urban Flea Market, Dustin, it's at the Gateway, and is it on Saturday or Sunday?
It's on Sunday from I'm going to say 9 to 3.
9 to 3. All right.
Question mark?
I'm going to try and come down.
All right.
Perfect. All right.
See you there.
All right. Take care.
Thank
Bye.
you, Dustin.
He makes really nice hats.
Zach is here.
Hey, Zach, what's up?
Yes, sir. Just checking in.
What do you do, sir?
Looking for some Disney on Ice tickets, to be completely honest.
I don't know if Richie's given them away yet or not.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm sorry, they're gone.
Yeah,
See
I'm just checking in.
Okay, well, you probably.
Errol, it's only $10 opening night. You can buy some Disney on Ice tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it would.
Yeah, I'll get
it's
'em.
free though. It's nice to go free. Well, I guess you don't, Zach. You don't have anything else to really say because you just wanted the tickets, right?
Yeah.
No, well, I'm just sitting on the job site waiting for the rest of the crew to show up.
Mm-hmm. See,
Well,
Thought I'd check in.
Try to check. We're giving them away all week, so maybe you'll win them tomorrow.
That sounds good.
all right,
all right.
Just a little tip for people.
All right, guys, have a good day.
See ya.
Bye, Zach.
Little tip for people checking in. If you're just calling to win tickets, we'd rather make up something.
Well, it's rude to ask.
Yeah.
Hey, can I have? No.
Just make up something.
Yeah.
All right.
All right,
Mike.
Mike, what are you doing?
I am driving into work this morning.
Yeah, and what's your work?
I'm a firefighter.
For
Thanks for doing it.
Yeah, for what municipality do you do that?
For South Davis Metro Fire.
South Davis Metro Fire. I think I have one of your shirts.
Do you?
I think-
Excellent. I'm
yeah.
sure it's a very nice shirt.
It is. It's a very nice shirt. I've made it a habit to go to DI and find shirts with logos on them, and I found and it's in very good condition. It's a polo type shirt, and it's got, I'm pretty sure it's South Davis Metro Fire logo on it.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad you have it.
All right, well, it was some firefighter had it who didn't last very long on the job because it's in perfect
Probably.
shape.
That's
Yeah.
probably it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
Probably.
thanks for checking in with us.
Thanks for doing the morning show.
All right.
Well,
See you.
that was nice.
That was nice, Mike. Thank you.
Thanks for doing the morning show.
Nurse Jen checking in. Nick here. Hug Mondays, especially when having to work all weekend.
Yeah.
10% is all you need to get
Okay.
through.
All right.
Ogden Shut-In. Science teacher checking in.
Oh,
Gonna educate.
Somebody else only had 3 hours of sleep. Were you at Mary Claire's birthday party last night too? I don't remember seeing you.
Teacher Joni, Tim the tree guy. Hey, whatever happened to that Kimberly that worked across the street? I haven't heard her check in for a while.
Yeah.
They're worried
concerned.
about you, Kimberly.
Kimberly, yeah, she used to call us from across the street, and then
Because I think she's taking the train. She called us when she
That's
drove
right.
to work.
That's right.
She's taking the train.
Brady Sylvester checking in from California Pizza Kitchen at the Gateway. Love listening to you guys while counting inventory. Way too early.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I guess we'll do it.
I guess we got to. All right. Let's get it going. Big boy news and opinioendo coming up.
You know, you
These.
watched the. We got Geek News on the radio coming up today as well. Right?
Yeah, that's later.
Yeah.
Uh,
and 7 o'clock we'll talk about Academy Awards. I
yeah.
think.
Amy Donaldson has sports coming up as well.
You
But
know,
yeah, the Academy Award movies. A lot of them were Salt Lake Film Society.
Yep.
Well, and they're still there. So if you saw some of the awards last night and thought, oh, yeah, I need to catch up with some of those, you'll find a lot of them at Salt Lake Film Society.
check out both Three Billboards, which is great, and you know my favorite movie of the year.
Yes,
that I've
we
seen,
all know
Shape of
it's
Water.
Shape of Water.
It is just a wonderful movie, and it was great to see not only it win Best Picture, but Guillermo del Toro win Best Director, which is how it should be. A Salt Lake Film Society always showing the independent films and documentaries, and then they do special programs as well. All kinds of things, supporting local filmmakers, and they have a podcast called Talking Film, which is they go in deep into the film world and talking about various odd aspects of movies.
We've been on it.
Yep. New episodes monthly at slfs.org, Salt Lake Film Society.
Oh, Gina.
Crash 146 South at Pony Express Road in Draper. The eastbound and northbound right lanes are closed. That's the only accident being reported this morning. You can report one if you see it. Text it to us, 33986. Try the Buck and Under menu at Del Taco for the most fresh choices for $1 or less, like 69-cent mini quesadillas, 89-cent burritos, and the new $1 salsa chicken taco.
Keep the radio on. Radio from Hell with Carrie, Bill, and Gina. 96.3 FM, X96.
Last week, these little girls came up to me.
Ow.
They come running up to me, and they go, and I mean, they're like 12 years old or 11, and they go, Are you Bill Allred? And I said, yeah. And they said, do you remember us? And I said, no. And they said, you threw us out of that garage in your backyard a couple of weeks ago.
What? You had kids in your garage?
Not my garage, my neighbor. She has this old garage, and the
Wait a
top
minute.
of it.
No, do you have an infestation?
Yeah.
Is it like
little girls?
That's what it was like. It was an infestation of little girls. And the old garage has like a top place that you can walk up some stairs and go into, a second story, but it's just ramshackle. You know, you can see through the ceiling and the floorboard.
You ought not be walking around.
It's more of a shack than anything.
Yeah, and I realized there were some kids up there and so I went over, and there were these little girls in there trying to clean it up and make a playhouse out of it. You know, and
a fort. We want a fort.
Yeah, and I was nice to him because I said I know how attractive this is to want to do this, but it's really not safe. Plus, it's filthy. And I mean, they had cleaning equipment in there and all of this kind of stuff. And I said, it's really not safe.
Yeah.
So and there were other kids coming down my driveway and stuff to go up there with them. And I said, so come on out and please don't do it anymore. And you know, they haven't. I could have I was going to put a lock on the door for my neighbor. And I haven't gotten around to it, but I don't think anybody's been up there since.
Yeah.
At least I don't think so. But then apparently there were some older kids who recognized me, apparently. So they were just really excited that they had been thrown out.
Kicked us out.
They kicked us out of that place.
Does that mean Jonesy's going to scream like that someday? No! Is that what girls do?
Yeah.
Hi. Being there for kids is super good fun.
Who is that? Who is that that says super good fun?
It's a PSA for some kid thing.
But you don't know who it is?
No.
Hi. Being there for kids is super good fun.
I love that.
All it takes is a little know-how.
All it takes is a little know-how. Yeah, super good fun.
96.3 FM, X96.
All right, 6:34 right now. Sports with Amy Donaldson coming up. Talk about the Oscars at 7. But right now, big boy news and opinioendo brought to you by.
Get unlimited 1.5% cash back plus a $100 bonus with Power Cashback credit card from Security Service Federal Credit Union. Restrictions apply. Get details at ssfcu.org.
Oh, I wanted to do this story last week I think it was Friday, and we just didn't get to it, and because it's just shocking. San Bernardino County Sheriff's deputies found a family living in a plywood box that was 4 feet high. It had no electricity or running water. It was a couple with 3 kids. They had been living in this box. I don't know if we have pictures of it at x96.com/live. They had been living in this large plywood box for 4 years.
Yeah, there's
There it is. So that's, I think, the front of it, they've pulled down the front of it at x96.com/live. Now, San Bernardino, fairly temperate climate. I mean, pretty warm, although I think it can get pretty cold at night. It's high desert,
Probably out there on the high desert, it would, yeah.
Deputies arrested Mona Kirk, who was 51, and Daniel Paniso on suspicion of willfully being cruel to children. Their children are ages 11, 13, and 14. Deputies said that while conducting an area check on the property in Joshua Tree, they not only discovered the box, but an abandoned trailer housing 30 to 40 cats.
Oof.
And holes filled with trash and human feces throughout the property. So they dig holes and put their trash in it and take a dump in the hole. That's how they lived.
Great.
The box measured 20 feet long, 4 feet high, and 10 feet wide, had no running water, of course, no heat, no electricity. The parents weren't holding their kids captive in the house. They were just all living there in the makeshift house. They were just all living there together. Deputy said the children had an inadequate amount of food and were living in an unstable and unsafe environment, is what they said. So,
sounds like it.
Yeah. That's bizarre. And these are, these are people that society has forgotten. And there's probably some mental illness involved here. There's all kinds of things involved here. But
falling through the cracks.
People falling through the cracks. And we'll talk about that coming up
a
little bit more. Falling through them, yeah. But it's kind of sad. This caught my eye. Extreme winds. The weather's been just awful in all parts of the country. The East Coast, it's been horrible. The West Coast has been suffering from devastating storms, snow in the high mountains in California. Some of that snow, of course, came here, and there was a lot of snow dumped here on Sunday. I ended up not going to Lava because I was going to go up to Lava on Saturday and stay overnight and come back Sunday. But I was worried about the weather a little bit.
That was a reasonable worry.
And I called them at this little motel we were going to stay in up there, which I'd never stayed at, but it looks pretty nice, called Aura Soma. And I called them and said, what if the weather's too horrible to come up? And they said, well, am I going to lose my money? And they said, well, if we're full, and we are quite full, and somebody picks up the room, we won't charge you anything. But if you have to drop it, maybe we'd charge you half or something like that. And I thought, well, okay, that seems reasonable. Seems okay.
Yeah.
So, but then on Sunday, the weather was fine here Sunday morning when I got up pretty early and looked fine. And I thought, well, maybe Saturday, maybe we'll go. And then I got a call later in the day from Arasoma, the motel, and they said, don't come up here.
Do
not come.
Whatever you're doing, don't come up.
I said, it's not snowing here. And she said, we had 12 inches of snow overnight. It's snowing right now. Don't come.
That was nice of him to say.
And I thought, no, I haven't looked at my bank account yet to see.
Wow.
But so extreme weather, extreme winds have toppled a tree believed to be over 2 centuries old.
Oh, wow.
That was planted by George Washington. No, it wasn't a cherry tree. It was a tree he planted on his Mount Vernon estate. It was a 227-year-old Canadian hemlock. It collapsed on Friday. It was planted by George Washington back in 1791.
I don't know. We've heard lies about George Washington.
I
and
think this one
trees
is good.
before.
All right, now let's do this. There was a story in the Salt Lake Tribune. Oil and gas resources played a bigger role in the controversial boundary changes ordered by President Trump that removed 2 million acres from southern Utah's 2 large national monuments than previously disclosed.
Oh no, that couldn't possibly
Must
be
all
true.
be Republicans.
After talking to, after taking the Interior Department to court, the New York Times acquired 25,000 documents related to the creation and review of Bears Ears, Grand Staircase Escalante, and other national monuments. The newspaper goal was to shed light on the opaque process Interior Secretary Zinke used to determine what to cut out of the boundaries. Working under orders from Trump, Zinke launched his review. There are numerous documents from oil and gas interests.
Sure.
No, this is about getting the land back under control under the states. Nothing more.
Well, Orrin Hatch says...
Listen, you dumbasses.
Now, after this New York Times story that said oil was central in the Trump administration's decision, oil was central in the decision to cut back the Bears Ears and Grand Staircase, Senator Hatch says that's nonsense.
Nonsense, you dumbasses.
Greedy energy tycoons were not behind any of this. None of them. By the way,
not true.
Senator Hatch also apologized on Friday for saying those people who support the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, were some of the stupidest dumb-ass people he'd ever met. He said, I shouldn't have cast aspersions against ass people. Not all of them are dumb.
Some are just
Not
asses.
all of the ass people are dumb.
This makes me want to go home and bite my pillow.
Some dumb ass people. You know, and I was reading an account. So there's Senator Orrin Hatch, dumbass people, comments about calling a spade years ago. We won't go into that when he's discussing race issues. We won't go into that. We won't go into this dumb ass people thing again.
What about the Democrats or the party of homosexuals?
Well, we won't go into that.
That was one he
Let's
said.
not go into that.
Okay.
I was reading the cover story in the latest New York magazine. Clarence Thomas should be impeached. It was the title.
Oh.
Okay.
And I recalled Senator Hatch's role in that.
Pubic hair.
Pubic hair on a Coke can. Pubic hair on a Coke can. Pubic hair on a Coke can.
His favorite phrase.
This is very similar to a phrase in the novel The Exorcist. That's where you got. You know, Joe Biden has apologized for how he treated Anita Hill, and he should.
Yeah.
He should have. But Orrin Hatch, those dumb ass people. Donald Trump has endorsed a Medicaid expansion bill, of course, here in Utah. And the legislature is maybe going to pass it finally. It'll cover about 60,000 people who fall through the cracks for health insurance. It is so much less than the Obama administration Affordable Care Act stuff wanted to have them pass to cover more people who fall through the cracks. So we're still going to let some of them go. Oh, and by the way, they're still debating or talking about having a work requirement.
Really?
Yeah.
There's just no empathy.
Well, because they're all lazy.
Yeah,
That's the whole, they're lazy and taking advantage of the system.
Listen,
They're
we're
all,
going to have them pass drug tests. We're going to have to make sure they have a job.
Just zero empathy.
How many people are we going to have living in plywood houses before somebody steps up and says, wait a minute, this is all wrong?
it's government overreach, Bill.
Yeah.
Sure is. I think government needs to reach over some more. Oh, and then, maybe that'll happen, though. Maybe we'll have some really good government overreach finally, because Donald Trump didn't know people were listening, didn't know he was being filmed. He was at a dinner with China's, how do you say his name? Ping. We'll say just President Ping. And the president of China, Mr. Ping, recently managed to change rules to things, essentially consolidating power and making him president for life of China.
Donald Trump likes that idea.
He sure does. In closed-door remarks, a recording of which was obtained by CNN, Donald Trump praised China's President Xi Jinping for recently consolidating power and extending his potential tenure, musing that he wouldn't mind making such a maneuver himself. He's now president for life. No, that's great. He's great, Trump said. And look, he was able to do that. I think it's great. Maybe we'll have to give that a shot someday, he said.
It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
All right, okay.
Oh.
I want all you rich right Republicans to look at your stock portfolios right now.
Well, and
the tariff talk.
And now I want you to imagine those words being said by President
I
Hillary.
know.
Or President Obama.
Or
But
President
it doesn't
Obama.
matter. It
And
doesn't
then
matter that he
Watch
had.
their heads explode.
It doesn't matter that one of his good friends, magically a couple of days before the steel tariff thing goes in, sells $100 million worth of stock.
That was Carl
It's
Icahn.
not nothing
He
will
sold
come
off,
from that.
He sold off all of his stock that he was invested,
pure
millions and millions of
coincidence.
dollars, sold it off, and yet, I remember when, what's her name? The homemaker,
Martha Stewart.
Martha Stewart. She goes to jail for insider trading.
Yeah. If this is an insider trading, I
She
don't-
went to jail for insider trading, and Carl Icahn. Yes, Amy Donaldson wants to say something about this. Yes.
She actually went to prison for lying to a federal investigator,
okay.
not for insider trading.
But
That
it
was what
was-
they were investigating.
And she said
But
she didn't do it.
said I don't even know. I think she said she didn't have any knowledge, or that some phone call didn't happen.
Yeah.
And they had evidence of it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So she went to.
they got her on the lying.
So
which is
Carl
what they
Icahn-
get most people on.
Carl Icahn's not lying.
Not yet.
No, he just said.
When they investigate it, we'll have to see what he does.
Well, he'll.
Yeah, he's just
If
it was
they
a good
investigate.
guess.
If they investigate, that's the thing. We're too busy chasing down Hillary's emails. We got our priorities.
I just want you all to think what kind of a world this would be if Donald Trump were able to consolidate power and sort of make himself president for life.
He can't do that.
Sports, weather, traffic, or
Well,
weather
we're gonna do
traffic.
He'll
sports
never
with-
win.
Shut up.
He'll never win.
Shut up. Nicer today, not snowy, partly cloudy, 43 for a high. And traffic, the only thing being reported right now is a crash 146 south at Pony Express Road in Draper. Eastbound and northbound right lanes are closed there. Brought to you by National Auto Plaza. Who builds the best trucks? National Auto Plaza does. Lifted accessories you haven't even thought of yet, all to take your next adventure to a whole new level.
All right, thank you very much. Is sports sponsored?
Yes, upon qualification, buy a new home with New Dwello's Gift of Equity program. A gift could mean up to $8,740 for the purchase of a new home. Text the word money to 62687.
Amy Donaldson Sports. Break.
Here she is, back from Price.
Oh, Richfield.
Oh, Richfield, excuse me. That's all out there in that kind of
It's
weird.
that way.
That part
South of Salt Lake County.
that
That's all
part
you
of-
need to know.
That part of Utah that I have a hard time finding anything beautiful to look at.
But did you even get a couple-hour break after coming back from
sort of.
Korea?
Yeah, I had
She
I
had
had
a
a
race
day
to
off.
run, so you had to run a race or something.
No, I had a day off and I babysat.
Yay.
Oh, that's good.
Hung out with my grandkids.
Amy Donaldson, you can, of course, read all of her wonderful sports reporting and her columns and commentary in the Deseret News just by going to DeseretNews.com. Have you written a heart-tugging 3 or 4 handkerchief column today?
No, I don't think you'll need any handkerchiefs, but it's just comparing, because a lot of people are shocked that I go straight from the Olympics to 1A basketball, and it's the second time that it's happened. I wish there was like a week, like Gina said. I wish I could, because the jet lag from South Korea, I don't know how you did it, Carrie, but it's killing me.
I felt it for weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I cannot I couldn't adjust over there.
You know, what you need to do is drink heavily. It makes it
Really?
worse. No, it makes it worse, but at least you're drinking.
I feel like I'm operating at such a disadvantage with the sleep deprivation that I'm not sure that would be a good idea.
No,
I might end up losing my job. So, but so it's a rough one. But so my column today is comparing what are the similar I think there's a lot of things in common. Those are my two favorite things to
Sporting
cover.
competitions.
Yeah, those are my two favorite events to cover.
Is
so.
high school sports and world
Well,
class
no,
sports.
1A, small town basketball. So
Small
not
town.
just high school, but the smallest classification.
I think I can understand why you like that, but
Yeah.
explain why you like the really small town stuff.
Well, first of all, Manila had both a boys and a girls team in the tournament, and the boys made it to the final day of play. And I'm pretty sure we went. Tom Morton from the Salt Lake Tribune and I went to lunch, and on my husband's dime, and and 80 people from the town of Manila were dining at the restaurant. So, and somebody said, who's watching all the store, one of the businesses. And I mean, that's the thing I love is that here are these kids. These people don't have kids, they don't have grandkids, and they show up for these games.
Yeah.
And
by the way, I would say if you were having food in Richfield, you weren't dining, you were eating.
You don't know. Tom
You
and
don't
I,
know. You don't
Tom and
know.
I were dining. You don't know what we normally eat. That was like a step up.
I think you were
I know.
eating.
My husband was like, he gave me a long list of recommendations. We took none of them. So we just ate junk. But no, what I love about it is this, what drives an Olympian. I mean, you have to sacrifice so much and work so hard, and really there has to be a level of passion that, is rare. And then you see that same kind of thing in high school sports, especially at that level where nobody's going to they're not even getting college scholarships, right? If they are, they're academic. They're there and playing for their teammates
they like it.
and they're representing their communities. Yeah. And they've grown up together.
They probably even have a hard time fielding teams in some of those schools.
You're absolutely right, because they're so small.
Yeah.
So it's so that's why I love it. And the coaches are literally the best human beings.
So it's not the quality of play you
No,
like.
you know what? It was amazing. It was awesome. Yeah. In fact, Tom got emotional because he'd sat through a bunch of 4A, 5A, 6A games, and he said, "This is by far the
More
best
exciting.
basketball I've seen."
And again, you're not invested in it. They're not your kids. Or
No,
grandkids.
but they
You're-
play
yeah.
team basketball. It's really fun to watch. Yeah.
So who won?
Well, Panguitch boys and girls both won. So
Okay.
it's they did it again in 2001, and Salem Hills also did it this
So
year.
they're state champs in their divisions.
Both of them.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, both boys
And what
girls.
else? What else is going on in sports?
Well, just get ready to go dancing, because it's March. So you got to get ready for the big dance.
It's Mad March.
Come on. You got
Could we not
It's
say
ba-
that,
bas-
please?
it's college
I'm
basketball.
going to say it every day.
When you make it to the tournament, that's called the big dance.
Big
you know
dance.
you love that.
Oh,
you
man,
love
I
the
hate it.
big dance
I
just hate that.
because you love big dances.
no.
I want you to heavily cover the NIT this year, please.
I can do that. I
Okay.
take requests. So if there's some tournament out there, some lame-o tournament.
So how many teams?
No, I'm not saying the NIT.
Okay.
How many teams are in the big dance?
200. It's about that. isn't it?
68.
That seems.
Oh, I thought it was 64.
That
Well,
seems,
64 is the but then remember they have
Oh,
those 4
see,
play-ins.
that seems like a lot to me.
That's
So-
way too
They
much.
whittle it down pretty
I
fast.
think that it shouldn't be the big dance until it's like a dozen.
Well, it's a Sweet 16, Carrie. That's what you're
But
thinking
see,
of.
you're thinking of like prom or something.
should have-
This is like North Sanpete High prom, which Spencer Cox tweeted about, where everyone's invited, and everyone we will.
From the
If
town?
you can't find a date, we'll find you a date.
all right.
But yeah. So anyway, that I say that because it's conference tournaments. Utah won on Saturday, so they will go in as a number 3 seed. BYU is playing in the West Coast Conference tournament right now. They play tonight against St. Mary's at 8:30. Meanwhile, college basketball.
What are the chances of BYU getting into the tournament? Because they haven't had a.
They have to
stellar-
win. They basically have to win their tournament, I think.
Yeah.
So
All right.
if they win, they're in. If not, it's going to be dicey. So college basketball rocked by scandal last week.
Yeah.
I'm sure Gina already told you about it, but Yahoo
No, she
published.
Your husband did.
Did he? Well, I don't know if it had.
Yeah.
Maybe it broke. I think it actually broke the day
He just-
before.
He
the day
wanted
it
to
came
point
out.
out, as far as he could
Yeah.
tell, no Ohio
Yeah.
State players were involved.
Yes.
Well, yeah, but there's some Big Ten problems.
Mm-hmm.
Big Ten has a lot of problems, and as does basically college basketball does. I mean, the top programs: Duke, North Carolina,
Mm-hmm.
Kansas, Kentucky, Michigan State, Texas, USC.
Everybody's doing it.
Yeah, it's even if you don't want to go through and read all the documents like some people do.
You?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe that what you get from this is there are serious
It's
problems.
corrupt.
With
It's
recruiting.
corrupt.
Yeah,
it's one of those things where it's like, well, if everybody's doing it, then
It's not-
is it a big deal? Because we're all doing it.
But I think it's also like what it proves to me is what I watched at the Olympics with doping. Whatever rules you put in place, you have to think like a cheater. You have to do what IT people have done. You have to hire the people who scam your system, and you have to say, where are the holes? And what do we want to accomplish? Because really and truly, what you want to accomplish is you want amateurism to be protected. you want a level playing field in
Mhm.
college basketball. It can't just be rich people.
Give a stipend to players. Make it the same
Amen.
stipend on every level. It's the same amount.
You can't do that, but you can't because every school does not have the same
No.
amount of money.
Of resources.
Have the have the
Where do you think that money comes from?
That's a good proposal. I don't. That's
have
not
the
a bad.
NCAA do it.
Yeah, I mean,
Have
I think
them do it.
when you have players who can't afford, to
shoes.
pay their bills or whatever,
Or their mom
and their
needs rent money.
I know players, women's players whose parents have never seen them play college ball.
Because they
right?
can't afford to
because
go.
they can't
yeah.
afford to fly. They want their kid to take a scholarship out of state, but they can never watch their kid play basketball. I mean, there's just so many issues. So is it the kid's fault if a parent takes money? I mean, is it, I don't know. It's follow that. It's
all the schools pay into the NCAA. They put a stipend out for all the players.
We could actually solve this problem by just taking some of the money the NCAA administrators pocket, because they're all making six figures.
Yeah.
And just pay that back to the kids who are making them the money.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
That's it.
And the Jazz won and Real tied.
Yeah.
And it's on your website, x96.com.
And
Amy gave us all her sports.
Yeah.
And Stevens Henniger didn't make the tournament this year for
Nope.
the basketball.
I'm
did he?
surprised because there's 68 teams.
That's your husband's.
Oh.
Stevens Henniger, how did they do?
He's a big fan.
Yeah, I know.
They have a former Ohio State ball boy as their coach.
Of course.
Thank you. Read Amy Donaldson's stuff on DeseretNews.com and at AD on Sports at Twitter.
That's nice music. It usually means there's traffic or something. But,
Yeah.
But we're good.
Oh,
All right, it's all good. Unless you see something, you can text it to us, 33986.
All right. So we'll talk about the Academy Awards coming up. We got round one of your boner voting as well.
I talked to our good friend Dr. Hoops this week.
Junior or senior?
Senior on the phone. He and I hadn't talked to Dr. Hoops from Hoops Vision for a long time, and I mean, we're absolutely opposite politically, but geez, I love talking to him. He's a funny guy, and he's a great guy, and he has really done a great job with Hoops Vision So I was calling him about a person I know who has a very serious eye condition that I wanted to find the best care for, and he said, "Oh, and it's not laser surgery that they do." He said, "Oh, we have the best people here to do that," which I didn't know, and I thought,
yeah.
"Oh, great!" And we talked a long time about that. But if you have blurry vision, if you wear glasses or contact lenses, this is the place to go. Hoops Vision. They will do the best premier job of anybody in the state, maybe in the Western United States.
Oh, that facility is just amazing that they've built down there.
Check the SMILE procedure. It is a new, gentle, kind of quick recovery laser vision correction that they have there. Call 877-30-LASIK. That's 877-305-2745, or go to hoopsvision.com.
X96 is your home for non-stop music. We give you a 1-hour non-stop music wingding 3 times a day.
That's how desperate I am.
At 10 a.m., right after Radio from Hell.
We're desperate.
At 1 p.m., while you're listening in the workplace.
seamless and pretty well handled and an entertaining show.
They kept it clipping along very well. Nothing ran too long, but there weren't any big.
Jimmy Kimmel didn't get he got
he
a little political.
He barely did anything.
He did some political jokes, but it was more like a Johnny Carson monologue, the kind of political stuff he did. Yeah, Richie, you can weigh in on this as well if you want.
Well, I made the mistake of wandering down the rabbit hole of people's comments about the Academy Awards. Have you guys ever read? Yeah. It's the man, what was the one that I was sharing this morning? Talking about it's the people worried about gun control who have security guards around them all the time. Just this huge diatribe about.
Well, they hate the Hollywood liberals.
It's the Hollywood liberals, and
I didn't think it was too political. I thought it was fairly mild political.
I thought there were some legitimate criticisms of. We have this Me Too movement going on, and Jimmy Kimmel made some jokes about that were pretty good. So he made a Harvey Weinstein joke. I didn't even think he'd bring him up. He made his opening joke about Oscar. Look, this is the perfect man, Oscar. His hands are where you can see them, and he doesn't have a penis.
Yeah, that's funny.
So there was that stuff. But, so with all the Me Too and all of that going on, and Casey Affleck did not present for Best Actress as he should have because
Jodie Foster did.
Because he stayed away because he settled some sexual harassment suits with money. But they gave Kobe Bryant an Academy Award
for best animated short, I think.
Accused rapist
or documentary short.
Kobe Bryant. And he wrote and directed it, apparently.
And Gary Oldman won.
And Gary Oldman, who choked his wife out with a phone cord.
In front of his kids.
Yeah.
And, he has a new wife now.
Oh, well, that's good.
Different wife.
It's one that doesn't deserve beating.
She says all the right things.
She listens.
Yeah. I got a wife that listens finally. So that kind of bugged me. And it was when Kobe Bryant was the first one. And he got up, and I went, "What? Really? Come on!"
I mean, there are people ignoring Ryan Seacrest out front. But we're giving this guy an award.
And then there were the good things about the Oscars. There was a guy that I felt really sorry for. My heart broke for him. I don't know who he was. He was a Spanish guy, I think Mexican guy, who came out to. I think it was introduce the singers of Coco. The movie Coco and the song, the best song. And he has an accent and he's talking and he tried to make a joke about the wall. And he said, and he did it all without walls. And you could see he was trying to make a joke and it just
nobody got it.
It was just it wasn't
flat.
It wasn't very good.
Yeah.
And he was expecting a a and he didn't get it. And he just kept going. And it was dead silence for a second.
Take that pause and go, walls, huh? Am I right?
Yeah, I mean,
guys?
Nobody was listening.
I felt really bad for him.
But as far as the awards themselves, fairly predictable. I don't think there were any.
I was surprised about The Shape of Water winning. I was surprised about that because it's a genre film, as we geeks call it.
Yeah,
and that surprised us.
What did you think was going to win?
Three Billboards.
I thought it would be Three Billboards. So, I wanted Get Out to win.
So they did. That was what was predictable. It wasn't going to win, but Jordan Peele got the best screenplay, that's great. So it was a balance, I think, because it could have been Three Billboards or Shape of Water. And so they did Shape of Water and Guillermo del Toro, and then the best actress was
Frances
McDormand, and then Sam Rockwell won.
Now you didn't stay up for Frances's speech.
No, I heard about it,
and I just love her because she didn't even give a care.
Yeah. She doesn't wear much makeup.
No,
she had a little on, but
she is not about putting anything on, but. She had all of the women stand up. Any woman that was nominated for anything stand up and had them all stand up. And then the very last thing she said was, "I have 2 words for you: inclusion clause," and walked away.
Inclusion rider.
Yeah. And I, like everybody, I'm sure was going, "What?"
It's one of my favorite movies. Gina.
What's an inclusion rider?
It's a guy.
But it was really effective because I think a lot of people are going, well, what's that? I'm going to look it up. And what it is when you're a powerful person like her and you agree to do a film, you insist on an inclusion writer, which means you have the right to say, I want a diverse cast, I want a certain amount of women, certain amount of people of color. You have that you can walk away if they don't meet your demands for how the thing is cast and staffed. And I thought that was interesting.
I like the sentiment of that. I'm not sure I like the idea of it in practice. And that's another discussion. But I like the idea of that, but I think it would get kind of difficult. And anyway, and then I also liked you didn't see this, Carrie. So at one point Jimmy Kimmel said, really we're here patting ourselves on the back and congratulating ourselves, but we really ought to pat the people who go to movies, the movie-going public. We ought to pat them on the back and congratulate them and applaud them. Yes?
I have an issue with this. Go ahead.
Okay, I think I probably know what it is. So he said, across the street there's a theater, and there's a camera that comes up and says, they don't know we're looking at them right now. It's a bunch of people that were invited to see a screening of the Wrinkle in Time, see a preview screening of Wrinkle in Time. And so we're going to go over there and thank them for being moviegoers and watchers.
Okay.
And they said, who wants to go with me? And it's just Gal Gadot and Emma
Watson.
No.
Which one? Hermione
Blunt.
Okay.
Emily Blunt. And big stars, Guillermo del Toro. They all line up and Jimmy Kimmel gives them big bags of candy, and they have. I had no idea that Did you know that hot dog cannons exist?
I had no idea.
They gave Mark Hamill a hot dog cannon and somebody else a hot dog cannon, and they all went across the street to this theater during the commercial, and then it's both screens, and we want to thank you all, and they gave them candy, and it was charming, and they shot hot dogs into the crowd and so forth. And what is your issue? I thought it was really great and terrific, but Gina's issue is...
So they said, these people have no idea we're doing this. Right. There was a guy in the crowd, totally dressed to the nines, sparkly jacket, hair all done. This guy, somebody told him what was he was
Gina,
on the joke.
No, it's Hollywood, Gina. It's Hollyweird.
In on the joke.
It's Hollywood.
Somebody told him.
It's Hollywood Boulevard at night.
Yeah, no.
But we have more. There's a bunch of other stuff to talk about.
My issue with it was Jimmy Kimmel pretended that who wants to go with me? That was all pre-planned. Everybody knew who was going to get up and go with him.
Of course.
But we should talk about some more of it coming up. Heavy traffic northbound I-15 toward 110th South. Doesn't look like there's a crash associated with that. Just some heavy traffic there, and that's it. I see nothing. Unless you see something and want to let me know, text it 33986.
Once again, raped by Hollywood.
Here are your boner candidates. That is time for that, isn't it? Yes.
Yes.
Coming up for round one, the titles are Foreplay with a Baton. Number 2, Knock It Off, You Little Twerps. And number 3, I Will Burn You Alive.
All right. Round one of your boner voting and big boy news and opinioendo, all coming up after these. Hang on.
Railroad. Roll by podcast.
Time for round one of your boner voting. 3 news stories that are examples of bad, stupid, or funny human behavior. And you will decide with your vote of these 3 which one is the worst, which one deserves to go forward to get a 50-50 chance at becoming boner of the day. If it wins here, it's not boner of the day. It just gets to go to boner fight, go up against the winner of round 2 boner voting. We'll do the same thing in the 8 o'clock hour at 8:20. And we'll take those 2 candidates and make them fight it out to decide who is boner of the day. That happens at 9:20. All right, 2 candidates now, then a third after the news. Once you've heard all 3, then you'll vote. One of you lucky random boner voters will receive
I can't buy it, gotta win it. Radio from Hell boner t-shirt courtesy of Excel Automotive Repair, Radio from Hell's official auto mechanics. Don't buy a lemon. Try Excel Automotive's $50 bumper-to-bumper used car checkover before you buy. Limit 2 cars per $50.
Here's boner candidate number 1. Foreplay with a police baton.
Oh.
Authorities say a Florida sheriff's deputy forced a female colleague to expose her breasts to him by threatening her with a police baton. The Tallahassee Democrat reports that Leon County Sheriff's Deputy Jarrett Broughton, x96.com/live is where you could see Mr. Broughton, was fired on Saturday and charged with aggravated assault. Mr. Broughton turned himself in. His attorney says, don't answer any questions. The sheriff's office said the woman came forward Thursday. She told investigators she originally wanted to forget about the incident and worried making a report would jeopardize her future job prospects with the sheriff's office. But then she said, I thought better of it. Mr. Broughton, Deputy Broughton, drove to the Appalachian National Forest during a ride-along. She was with him. He grabbed his baton and said, show him to me, or I'll hit you with this.
Oh.
It's kind of great foreplay, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Really? You're going to hit me with it if I don't... Really?
It's romantic.
I don't think you'd say that, Gina. I think you'd probably go, whoa. Foreplay with a baton, boner candidate number 1. Boner candidate number 2, knock it off, you little twerps. Wasatch High School students facing backlash from peers after trying to participate in the National School Walkout. The walkout is meant to honor the 17 victims of the Florida shooting with 17 minutes of silence at 10 a.m. March 14th. Students across the country are participating, but at Wasatch High School, some have responded negatively. Grace Bingham is in the 10th grade and one of the 3 organizers. She said that after she posted about the event on social media, one of the kids responded with a picture of his gun and said, I think I'll keep mine.
No.
Which is she said it was so disrespectful because we don't bring politics or guns into this. But the scariest response was from a student in Orem. Whitney Hess said, somebody commented, I'm going to shoot up my school in those 17 minutes of protest. We screenshotted that and sent it to the police.
Good.
The first line of defense for school threats are school resource officers, policemen and women who are stationed at a school long-term to protect students and faculty. Chief Deputy Jared Rigby said they stay keenly aware of what's happening in the community through social media. They need to be approachable enough that students will come to them and disclose really sensitive and personal things. Now, police say they've determined that these threats are hollow, not real, but they're nonetheless disquieting and stupid and done by a bunch of little twerps. Knock it off.
And how do you know if it's a joke or not?
You don't.
You
That's
don't
the
know.
thing.
That's why it's disquieting.
Mm-hmm.
Guns.
Number 2. Coming up in a moment, number 3, boner candidate number 3, I will burn you alive.
All right, round 1, boner candidate number 3, coming up after this. Big boy news and opinioendo brought to you by
Feldman's Deli, featuring corned beef, pastrami, mustard, pickles imported from New York City, serving breakfast and lunch Tuesday through Saturday, dinner Thursday through Saturday, featuring live local music Friday and Saturday nights. 20th East, 27th South. For more information, go to feldmansdeli.com.
So not open today.
Oh, I love it. That's what they want you to. You need to plan and prepare your stomach for Feldman's Deli. You need to say, stomach, you're going to have a really great thing coming up. So with this story was published in the Washington post at the end of February, and I just saw it recently, and you could do a very deep dive on it if you like. A self-described sex expert whose videos highlighted the ties between one of Russia's richest men and the Kremlin has been thrown into jail in Thailand. She is calling for the United States to help her get out of jail in Thailand.
Okay.
And she says, if you help me, I have information about links between Russia and President Trump.
Is she just saying that so she can get out of jail, or does she really have...
Don't know. She seems to be fairly credible. Anastasia Vashukovich.
Well, she sounds Russian.
An escort service worker from Belarus who catapulted into a certain measure of fame after filming a yacht trip with Russian billionaire Oleg Deripaska and Deputy Prime Minister Sergei Prikodko, detained in Thailand over the weekend, a police raid on her sex training sessions. She was giving, I don't know what this means exactly, sex training seminars in Thailand. And they said, no. So she published some Instagram videos asking U.S. journalists and intelligence agencies to help her. She says I am the only witness and the missing link to the connection between Russia and the U.S. elections.
I'm sure that's not true. She's the missing link?
Gina, she has been hanging, and this is verifiable. She's been hanging with some of the shady characters in Russia.
Well, she may know something. I don't think she's the missing link.
Well,
you think?
Do a deep dive. This is the kind of thing when you read this in the Washington Post, I'll send you the link, you'll go, wait a minute.
I mean, I understand you're, being suspicious. I get that. But let's not forget, the Steele dossier does specifically mention sex workers.
A lot. Yeah.
So,
do you read into it? I said, that's just the bare, surface of it. If you read the whole article, you go,
And all the people that she name checks, they're all also in the dossier. They're all part of the investigation.
She's been hanging with all the people who were in the Steele dossier, and she's attractive. Let's see. President Trump's decision on Thursday to impose crippling tariffs on the import of steel and aluminum
was an excellent idea.
Took a lot of people by surprise.
Except for Carl Icahn.
No, I just thought it was a coincidence.
No, just good business.
Former billionaire investor and former Trump advisor Carl Icahn was seemingly unvexed, having dumped $1 million or 1 million shares tied to the steel industry about a week before the president announced the 25% tariffs for foreign-made steel. Now, so whether that happens or not is not the point here. The fact that Trump just said it caused those shares to plummet.
Yep.
And Carl Icahn sold off $33.3 million stake in the Manitowoc Company, which is a leading global manufacturer of cranes for heavy construction.
Shouldn't that alone put him in jail?
Says who?
Says me. It won't.
No, it shouldn't, because there are probably, you could go around the country and find a bunch of people who decided for some reason or another, I'm going to sell a bunch of my shares in steel companies. I don't want this anymore. Or hedge funds who do. So
billions and billions and billions of dollars. That's what I do. I made a lot of money. I made it.
But even if he comes back and says, well, maybe not, maybe we're not going to do that, his friend already made the money.
Yeah.
It's done.
Yep. 5 women have accused Provo, the city of Provo.
I accuse Provo.
For deliberate indifference to the fact that they were sexually harassed, allegedly, by former police chief John King. They allege that King harassed or assaulted no fewer than 5 local women before his resignation in March, the result of negligent hiring. Because apparently, if you looked into Mr. King's career as in law enforcement back east, there were issues.
There. Oh, okay.
And Provo City hired him anyway.
Mm-hmm.
John Curtis hired him anyway. So now what happens? I think they seem to have a case here that Provo was negligent.
Could be.
However, you try to sue a city.
That's tough.
Pretty difficult to do. And this is a story in the Deseret News. You read that, you'll find a lot of more details about it. Here's what you need to know. Oh, here's something I saw this on Sunday in the Salt Lake Tribune. Maybe you guys can enlighten me on this.
Okay.
All right.
So it's a story that says Utah lawmaker calls for giving state park status to the full 140-mile Hole in the Rock trail.
All right,
Now,
that seems reasonable.
Okay.
All right.
I'm
surprised it's not already, but
then the story says, what does Utah's famed Hole in the Rock trail have to do with reducing the state's teen suicide rates?
What?
There's a lovely picture there of the Hole in the Rock
pretty.
trail. Man, that's great. So what does it have to do with reducing the teen suicide rates? Plenty, according to a Utah heritage group. The challenge is connecting youth with the epic journey pulled off at the site by their 19th century counterparts when 70 pioneer families blazed a path across some of the nation's most unforgiving terrain to settle in San Juan County. Stuart Matheson, who serves on the Hole in the Rock Foundation board, reminded lawmakers on Tuesday that suicide is the leading cause of death for Utahns aged 10 to 17. Access to this trail provides a significant experience for today's youth. To appreciate the sacrifice and difficult times and hard work of these pioneers, and to learn that applying those universal principles that helped these early pioneers, faith, obedience, courage, strength, perseverance, and hope, helped those hardy pioneers succeed, Matheson told lawmakers, in support of the state acquiring or leasing that land so that they can make it a state park. That's all that's said about it. Then it goes on to talk about a legislator, Margaret Dayton of Layton, who is sponsoring this legislation, and they want to make it a state land and a state trail. And there's some what is that? What does that first part of that mean or have to do with anything?
I can't help you with this.
Yeah, he's shoehorning it in there for some reason.
I know. And there's no further explanation of it in the story.
I hear talking about getting help for kids with suicide is hot right now, so I'll put that in my.
That was my thought, is that he stuck it in there to make it so that it happens.
That's kind of what I thought too. But
people are talking about that, so maybe if I talk about that,
it's a hot button issue right now.
So if I were one of the other people, one of the legislators up there listening to him, I would have said, "Excuse me, what?
What does that have to do with?"
I'm sorry, what?
Now
this is not to say that.
No, it's not a bad thing that he said.
And no, it's not to say that teen suicide is not a problem, but I don't think that kids learning about those hardy pioneers who prayed to God and had great fortitude and did what Brigham Young told them to is going to stop anybody from.
So is the state going to sponsor some trips to kids?
I don't know.
To the trail?
Perhaps somebody knows and will let us know. Maybe we're missing something.
Well, how much time do we have? Two quick celebrity stories.
Yeah.
Tiffany Haddish. There's a story here that says she has worn the same gown from her movie Girls Trip, that she wore that to all of the award ceremonies. She's worn it to all of them. And that's fine. Great. I happened to see her last night with
Maya Rudolph.
And Maya Rudolph is always funny and good.
Yes.
But my God, Tiffany Haddish is funny.
Very funny.
I've got it now. I want to do a deep dive on her because I don't know really that much about her. It seems to me that like she's.
To be here, but our feet hurt. Yeah. I had to take my shoes off. Girl, me too. I've been wearing these shoes since 11 o'clock this morning. How long you been wearing your shoes?
Since the Critics' Choice Awards.
Oh.
They're very funny.
They're both funny, but she's just charming and bright, and I got to find out more
there's
about her.
If you go x96.com/live, there's
she
pictures of her and it's a lovely dress. Why wouldn't you?
She made a joke about it on when she hosted Saturday Night Live. She wore the dress and said, "Yeah, I'm wearing it again because it's terrific."
Yep.
And
So, and then just one other quick thing, a celebrity story. I had this for a few days. The headline is Liev Schreiber vacations with rumored girlfriend in Costa Rica. And so Liv Schreiber is vacationing with somebody they say may or may not be his girlfriend. Her name is Taylor Neeson. She is 26. And it says here, the Ray Donovan star, 50, and the former Miss South Dakota have been alleged to be a couple since last fall. They were seen frolicking on the beach in bathing suits. I'm telling you, Liev Schreiber has never frolicked in his life.
He's not much of a
He
frolicker.
does not frolic. He is not a frolicker. He's never frolicked. I don't think he even has ever heard the word, hey, Liev, let's go frolic in the surf.
He'd say, excuse
I'm
me,
sorry.
what? Yeah,
Sorry.
no, I'm not.
Frolic?
I'm not doing
I have audio of them.
Frolicking?
Frolicking, you want to hear?
Yeah.
I'm Wolverine! I'm Sabretooth! Wolverine! Sabretooth! Wolverine! Sabretooth! Wolverine! Sabretooth! You can't get here, Wolverine! I'm Sabretooth!
See,
They sound like a lovely couple.
They sound like they're frolicking to me.
He looks like he got sunburned.
Did he?
Yeah.
Don't look too closely.
Frolicking.
Because I need you to do your weather and traffic
Oh,
here.
I can do that.
Don't go down the Liev Schreiber
I wanna see, though.
hole.
Well, you can't while I'm doing traffic, and you're going to have to wait,
Well,
Bill.
I'm over here. I'll get your pen for you. Here.
Thanks.
Get her work paper.
Partly cloudy, 43 for a high today. And traffic, we've got a little bit, but there's just not a whole lot going on. Heavy traffic northbound I-15 toward 110th South. 4-car accident just south of Parish Lane on the left side. Traffic stacking up in that area. Those are the only incidents being reported right now. Haster Games has the best selection of the latest board games, Magic the Gathering, Dungeons and Dragons, and more. It's a great place to stay and play. Remember, Haster has it, 6831 South State, online at hastergames.com.
All right. Here's boner candidate number 3. I will burn you alive. I would hate to be known as this. It says here, mortuary whistleblower.
I'm mortuary whistleblower.
I'm a mortuary whistleblower. That's what I do. A judge has awarded nearly $15 million in Birmingham, Alabama, in a whistleblower lawsuit filed by a one-time mortuary worker who was threatened with being cremated alive.
Whoa.
For revealing fraud at the mortuary. The judgment in favor of Barry Towle, made under a federal law that rewards people who report fraud and other crimes, goes against the owner of A Banks Mortuary and Crematory, where Mr. Towle once worked in Birmingham. A judge ruled in favor last month of Towle, his whistleblower lawsuit. He can receive about $4 million of the judgment. The rest will go to the government. I don't know. I guess that's some stipulation in the law of whistleblower lawsuits. You have to pay taxes on them if you win. So it's $15 million. He gets 4 and the government gets 11. A lawyer for the mortuary company and its owner said they didn't immediately respond. A statement from Towle's attorney said that Mr. Towle reported a scheme where mortuary paid kickbacks to 2 former officials with the Alabama Organ Center in exchange for business referrals. The funeral home collected tissues for the organ center.
I got you.
And then, so they were making money on the
Yeah.
side from people. Their families bring their bodies to the mortuary, and this mortuary is making money on the side from giving them tissue and organs and stuff like that. I mean, really despicable stuff. This guy blew the whistle, even though the mortuary owner said, if you tell anybody, I will burn you in one of these crematory ovens. That's number 3.
There you go. Let's review the first 2 and vote.
Boner candidate number 1, foreplay with a baton. Cop in Florida threatening a fellow worker, a woman, with a police baton. As if you don't show me your breasts, I'll hit you with this baton. Boner candidate number 2, knock it off, you little twerps. Shooting threats because of student activism here in Utah schools. The students who are saying they're going to participate in the walkout on March 14th. And damn right, all of you, every single student in Utah should participate in this walkout.
Absolutely.
Well, and colleges have said, we're not going to hold it against you if you do that.
I don't care whether they hold it against you or not.
No, just
Walk
meaning
out.
They're being supportive.
Do it.
But there are some little twerps who keep making threatening comments on Facebook and the like. And boner candidate number 3, I will burn you alive.
All right, here we go. This is round 1. You've got to decide which one of these 3 candidates is the worst, which one deserves to go to Boner Fight and possibly become Boner of the Day. If it wins here, it's got a 50-50 chance. Goes up against the winner of Round 2's Boner voting. That happens at 8:20. And then we throw them both into the Boner Dome. Boner fight happens at 9:20. That's when Boner of the Day is decided. So, decide this round, 1, 2, or 3. Which one is the worst? Which one do you think should win? Put that number in the message of a text. Text that to 33986. Short code. You can call, use your voice, 877-602-9696. Or you can go to x96.com and look for the box that says Boner Voting March 5th. And vote there. You've got 4.5 minutes is all, though. Let's go. It's round 1.
Want music? Listen at 10 for... 96.
All right, 7:45. Time to award round 1 of your boner voting.
And round 1 of the boner voting is brought to you
in part by creamy macaroni and cheese. And got a case of the Mondays. Gracie's has the Cure Monday Night Live jazz sessions with David Halliday and the Jazz Vespers Quartet from 7 to 10, adults only.
Boner candidate number 1, foreplay with a baton. The police deputy in Florida threatening a coworker with his baton, his police baton. I'll hit you with this if you don't show me your breasts. Boner candidate number 2, knock it off, you little twerps. Threats against student activists here in Utah, and I'm sure it's happening elsewhere, who say they're going to participate in the walkout on March 14th to the Parkland, Florida shooting and solidarity and protests and so forth. And people are threatening them. Other students, it seems to be, online. I've got a gun.
Shut up.
And boner candidate number 3, I will burn you alive. A guy worked at a mortuary in Alabama. He discovered fraud going on, and he said, I'm going to blow the whistle on you. And the mortuary owner said, if you do, I'll throw you in one of these crematory ovens.
I'll do it.
He did it anyway. He blew the whistle anyway, and he won his lawsuit. Connor won a boner T-shirt.
Connor.
And the winner, boner candidate number 2. Just knock it off, you little twerps.
That is the winner of round 1. It now goes to Boner Dome for Boner Fight. It's awaiting the arrival of the winner of the round 2 boner voting. That happens at 8:20. Boner Fight is decided. Boner of the day is decided at 9:20. All right. Let's see. We got Bill Frost coming in to tell us what's on TV this week coming up.
And Sean Means is going to come in, and we'll talk a little more Oscar stuff with him.
Well, now I can't find the email I wanted to talk about this.
Well, I didn't get it, so I can't help you.
But I guess I can go to the website. So you remember we did, people listening, a couple of weeks ago, we did this, answered a questionnaire for a guy named Sean Alexander who works at a website called All Access Music Group. And All Access Music Group is... It's a website for industry, radio industry, and music industry people. But he wanted us to answer a questionnaire about our career.
His 10 questions thing, and I was not about to do that because it's homework.
Right, and it was also like he wanted us to do this and send it back to him, write it out and send it back to him.
Yeah,
and we said no, we won't do that.
I have the article, which is just what we already did on the air. Was there something else in the email?
I wish I could find his response now. It's just somehow been misplaced. But he sent me back an email saying, thank you for doing this. I've posted it online. And you're right. It was kind of me getting you to do my job. I also posted the MP3 on our website. And
I just tweeted a link to what we're talking about.
And I thought that was really very nice of him to say, but to post the MP3 and also to say, you're right. I was just thank you for doing that, and I thought that was terrific. And you can go read the final results of it at it's allaccess.com.
I just tweeted a link.
Right, and I'm just reiterating that it's allaccess.com, and
they've been serving you since 1995.
Really?
Serving who?
I don't know.
You.
Apparently me.
Now, Gina,
I don't feel like I've been serviced since
you've been
1995.
You've been serviced since 1995. I know that for a fact. Maybe not by Sean Alexander, but you've had some work done. So now, does your link go right to his article too,
yes.
Gina? Okay, good.
It's in the chat room as well. So if you want to go and read it, or why read it? There's an MP3 there.
You can go listen to it.
Yeah. It's a radio nerd thing, but that happens a lot. These magazines or online magazines, they want to interview you, but they send you questions and say, here, answer these questions. And I'm like, no.
They just print it.
No, I refuse to do that. And I get back to them. I say, I'd be more than happy to talk to you.
Sure.
You want to call or come down here and talk to me. But I'm not going to fill out your form for you because that's your job. You know, that's homework. I'm going to sit down for an hour and type. No, I'm not going to do that. I'll sit down for a half hour and talk, sure.
Last week we also got contacted by Eric Peterson. Remember, he had the Send Us the Flask.
Oh.
The independent journalist project.
Yes.
He sent you a flask.
He sent a flask.
It was addressed to you. Carrie and I had nothing to do with it.
My God, you people are petty. You are so petty.
I got no flask. Carrie, did you get a flask?
I didn't get no flask.
I don't know what you're talking about.
He sent it to the news desk, all right? He knows where the booze is. So, but anyway, there was a nice note there. And I thought, well, okay, that's interesting. Independent journal and project. What is on? I didn't think much of it, although I'd read his stuff before, and he's a good writer.
Yeah.
And a huge piece into Sunday's paper, the Tribune, and it's by Eric Peterson in the Utah Independent Journalist Project, and it just says the Salt Lake Tribune has, what do they say? They've contracted with him. He's done the reporting, and then the Salt Lake Tribune is printing it. And it's a really interesting story about this Innovations High School here in Salt Lake. But it's really good journalism. And I think we ought to do some stuff with Mr. Peterson. He's
Like
really
what?
good.
I don't know what you mean, do some stuff.
Well, is
he going to investigate me?
That was the furthest thing from my mind, but now that you mention it.
No, but I don't know. If he's an investigative reporter, how come? Help me understand how we do something with
Gina's pretty easy.
What?
It's we would serve at. He can come to us with stories he has investigated and say, "Are you interested in talking about this on the radio?" And we could say, "Yeah," or "No, not that one." That simple as that.
Okay.
Do I have to do anything?
No.
That's great.
No.
Carrie just doesn't want any homework.
That's great.
Yeah, no, not at all. You wouldn't have to do a thing.
I'm all for it.
I would assume it's just being is that hard to figure out? Just we would be.
You said,
be a
"Well, we're
sort
going
of
to be involved with an investigative journalist." I feel like
that's
okay.
No, that's not what I said. We could perhaps
Gina thought
do
she'd
some stuff with him, is what I said.
I want to be undercover.
Gina thought she'd be wearing disguises.
Yeah.
Well,
I get a wig and a
no, but I would like him
and
to
a secret
investigate
recording
you.
device.
Could you speak? Could you say that again? But into my collar.
That's a lovely flower you have on there,
Yes.
Barberry.
Could you say that again, sir?
Would you like to smell it? Perhaps you.
Gina was hoping she would be in the Mystery Machine with Scooby.
No, that's not what you're just talking about having him on and all right.
No, you know what? No, she wasn't hoping any of that because that would require way too much effort.
That's true. Getting into a costume would be an awful lot of work.
Putting on a disguise and all of that.
Yep.
I mean,
you got to pull it over your head and everything. So you don't want to do that.
Gina, I think the lash cam is about as far as you need to go with that
Amazing
kind
lash
of stuff.
cam.
Sorry.
Is it lash cam time again?
No.
No.
Okay.
No.
See, I need to know.
No, Carrie.
Again,
Carrie.
I have to do things,
Yes.
and I need to know.
Carrie, don't worry. We'll iron this out after the show.
Flash cam.
There it is. We need to.
See, I need to know these things. If I have to do things.
You know who Lash LaRue is? At the Lash LaRue Film Festival. He was a Western star in Hollywood in the early days of Hollywood, and his thing was he did everything with a whip. He could whip. Gun. He didn't need a gun.
Nope.
He had a whip. He was Lash LaRue. Kind of like that concept. He could whip that gun right out of people's hands. Yeah.
Gina, Lash LaRue never had a lash cam.
Oh,
Nope.
look, but we do. Go to x96.com/live.
Is it happening now?
Amazing
Is it?
lash cam.
There it is. Close your eyes, Gina. Wait.
There you go.
There. Now. See,
Okay.
Yeah.
No, you have when the lash cam comes on, you have to close your eyes.
What's? Oh, all right.
Now
see?
I'm confused.
See?
X96.com/live.
All right, that's fine.
All right. Okay.
Let's see, traffic cam. That's a different kind of cam. Crash northbound I-15 at 6 North on the right shoulder. That incident by Parish Lane, all cleared up. Looks like the canyons are still closed. Or
What?
at least, yeah,
Really?
they were doing some avalanche control. And that's it. That's traffic.
All right. Thank you very much. Bill Frost hopefully is here and will tell us what's on TV this week after these KXRK Promo.
This is very important.
X96 is your home for non-stop music. We give you a 1-hour non-stop music wingding 3 times a day.
Nobody around here has been eating lead paint chips.
At 10 a.m., right after Radio from Hell, at 1 p.m. while you're listening in the workplace, and at 4:30 for Radio from Hell is the longest running morning show in Utah. That doesn't necessarily mean it's good, but, I mean, come on. You know, we'll take what we can get. X96.
All right. 802. Is this sponsored, Gina?
No.
It's not.
Slug Magazine likes him, though. Slug
Yeah.
Magazine has hired Bill Frost to talk about TV, the unplugged kind of TV. You know, the kind you do.
It's
with
acoustic
with,
TV.
Yeah, with a pick and.
I have a new article actually at slugmag.com or billfrost.tv. It's all about March is the 21st anniversary of the premiere of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
21st anniversary.
21st anniversary, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, I missed it last year. So, I slept on that one last year.
Yeah, you know.
But I picked out about 8 shows. If you like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, if you miss it, here's a bunch of shows that
might
you should
like
check
this.
out. Yeah.
Well, you read the article, right? I was going to ask you to name one of them.
One of them is Crazy Head on Netflix. It's a British series.
Oh,
I don't.
Okay.
You should read all about it, Bill.
I will. Describe it briefly.
It's a pair of British 20-something British demon hunters.
And it's pretty
women,
good?
and it's a very short series, very
Yeah.
funny.
Well, okay. Crazy. I'm going to make a note of it.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks.
I'm still not sure why it's called Crazy Head, though.
Yeah.
It's British.
Yes.
Bill Frost, of course, here he's a Slug Magazine writer, as he said, host of the TV Tan podcast with Tommy Milagro.
Yeah.
And I saw some picture on Twitter or something over the weekend. So I was jealous. Since I'm watching Bill Frost band, and whoever had it on had a Magda Vega T-shirt or jacket with Magda Vega on the back.
This is
of
where
it.
Bill's asking for free swag.
How did you guess?
That's Mike, our drummer. He custom made his own patch.
Well,
for
he
the
would
back
like
of his
Bill would
denim
like
jacket.
you. Bill would like you to
That's a
custom
one of a
make
kind.
him
That's
one.
a one of a kind.
We do have some T-shirts though.
I'd wear a Magda Vega T-shirt in an
All right.
instant. So you can find all of that at billfrost.tv.
Yeah. Coming up this week. By the way, I didn't watch the Oscars.
You did? I
I
didn't
did
either.
watch the Independent Spirit Awards, which is always a more entertaining show.
When do they do that the same?
They do it on Saturday.
It's like the day
before
before,
the
yeah.
Oscars.
Who was the host this year?
The hosts were John Mulaney and Nick Kroll, and it
Oh.
was very funny.
I heard an interview with them on Fresh Air, and they were great.
Yeah.
And they're nice. They're nice guys.
Yeah, so I would look it up on demand, the Independent Spirit
I
Awards.
will.
That was on IFC. Coming up this week on Wednesday, a new series on Hulu.
Yeah.
Hulu.
Mhm.
It's called Hard Sun. It's on the surface, it's kind of a cop drama.
S-O-N?
S-U-N.
S-U-N.
As in the bright thing in the sky.
Okay.
Is apparently getting closer to the earth because this is sort of a standard issue cop drama on the surface, a male and female cop.
All right.
They got different styles.
That's right. I don't like your style.
Yeah.
I don't care for your style.
Exactly.
Carrie's seen the show.
Yeah, that's the first half of the show
And
right
we're
there.
cops.
But also, Earth is facing an extinction level event in 5 years.
Ooh.
Oh, so this is a true story.
So it's kind of a cop / sci-fi kind of thing.
Okay.
And it's very interesting.
So it's like they know that all life on Earth is
Yes.
going to be gone in 5 years.
Yep. Meanwhile, they're, the government's saying, just don't talk about this. Just kind of let this slide.
Oh.
And one cop is like, we gotta let people know. The other cop says, no, I don't like your style.
I don't like your style. You're gonna panic people. But
Yeah.
the people demand to know. That's my style.
I know. It's
All right.
like that.
Okay.
Also, the premiere.
And they do that for several episodes.
Several episodes.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And then the world ends.
Okay.
Yeah, it's only 6 episodes. So
No. Well, no, they will figure out a way
To stop the world
so
from
that they
ending?
can have another season.
They're going to send Bruce Willis up.
to stop the sun.
That's right.
Also, a new series on the CW called Life Sentence, starring Lucy Hale, formerly of Pretty Little Liars.
Okay.
She's a young woman who was facing a death sentence with cancer for years. She thought, well, I'm going to die, so I'm just living life. Like, what the hell?
Okay.
She married a guy impulsively.
Yeah.
She does all sorts of impulsive things.
Like those dying people do.
Then she finds out, oh, your cancer's gone.
You're fine.
Oh, now I got to start
Kidding.
changing my ways.
Now you're going to face the music.
Yeah. So it's it's sort of a.
But don't worry, you'll die someday.
You'll die someday. But you're cute little Lucy Hale, so it's going to be a while.
All right.
Yeah. If you like Lucy Hale, this is for you.
That's
Okay.
Yeah. Also, the show that I did not think was coming back, Hap and Leonard. on
What?
Sundance.
Really?
James Purefoy and Michael K. Williams.
That's surprising.
I think I missed I had it set to record, and I think there was a whole second season, right?
There was,
This is
yes.
I missed it all.
It's on Netflix.
Oh, is it okay?
The first 2 seasons are on Netflix.
Okay.
They star as a couple of ne'er-do-wells knocking about Texas in the 80s, and they fall into criminal misadventures. And it's very well done, very funny.
It is. It was had a great kind. Michael T. Williams is terrific.
Yeah.
And James Purefoy. He's different in everything.
Yeah.
Because he was in that.
The Following.
Yeah, and then the Altered Carbon.
Yes, that's right. Oh, yeah, he was the guy. Solve my murder.
Yeah.
That guy.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah. He's great.
Very funny show. Of course, Thursday is the season 2 premiere of Jessica Jones.
Yay.
On Netflix.
And that's Thursday, you say?
Thursday, yeah.
Oh,
Not Friday. I don't know why.
That's
but,
interesting.
yeah.
Okay. I look forward to that.
Get a jump on the weekend.
I'm a Marvel zombie.
And a new series from NBC called Champions, starring Anders from Workaholics. He was the tall white guy.
Oh, okay.
The tallest white guy.
Keep track of your white guys.
Yeah. And turns out he runs a rundown gym with his younger brother.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, his former fling from years and years and years ago, Mindy Kaling, who was a producer on this thing, shows up and is like, here's your son, take him.
Oh, my.
It's one of these
hate it
things.
when that happens. I mean, that would be awful.
What?
It's one of those kind of things where like, oh, can he grow up and be a father and change his ways? And
no thanks.
So Mindy's not in the show, but
she's
to
in
do
the first
that?
episode.
Yeah.
There you go.
She
I'm
turns
out.
up in the first episode.
And it's called what again?
Champions.
Champions.
Of course, this is
Poorly
one of the,
named.
Poorly named.
It doesn't look promising on the surface, but then again, there's shows like AP Bio, which I'm kind of turning around on. After the first episode, not that great. I think it's gotten a bit better.
Which show?
AP Bio, starring Glenn Howerton from It's Always
Patton
Sunny in
Oswalt.
Philadelphia, and Patton Oswalt. Yeah.
Okay.
Love. Remember Love? Judd Apatow series starring Jillian Jacobs.
Yeah.
I never watched that.
Yeah, I kind of liked it.
I heard she was quite good in it.
Yeah. Third season, final season on Netflix, dropping Friday.
They claim that a lot of it is ad-libbed.
Could be. Yeah, I could see that.
They say they just give them, it's like the Larry David show. They give them direction and say, get there.
Yeah, it's funny if you like the Judd Apatow.
Yeah.
I know some people who've watched this that I hate that show.
Is it long-winded?
No, it's
Okay.
a half-hour series.
Judd Apatow can be a little long.
I know, right? It keeps it. They
He
keep
needs
it
to- yeah.
intact in a half-hour series.
He needs an editor.
And season 2, Sneaky Pete on Amazon Prime, starring Giovanni Ribisi.
Okay.
Oh, it's back. It's back.
It's back, season 2,
That's an excellent show.
produced by Bryan Cranston.
Yeah. Excellent. Is he in it again?
I don't think he's in it
See,
again.
did he die in the last? Oh,
I do
don't-
not remember.
I don't remember.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's a good show.
And going all the way to Sunday, the one time travel show from last year to survive, Timeless.
Which one was this one?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay. You've answered my question.
Yeah, it's we got to go back and change history to save the present.
No.
Oh, that one?
Yeah, that was all of them, but there were about 3 or 4 of them that premiered a couple seasons ago, and then only one has survived. Well, there's also Legends of Tomorrow out there.
If you count that one, yeah.
Yeah. And season 4 of The Royals, starring Elizabeth Hurley as the Queen of England on E.
In a bikini? Is she in a bikini?
No, that's off the
That's
show,
just
not
Instagram.
on the show.
See, I think that if they just did it as everybody around her, it's like the Queen of England and everybody around, except she's in a bikini with a crown on her
That's a
head.
show in your head,
Yeah,
Bill.
I think that'd be great.
That's Bill's private show.
Also, the premiere of one of the dumbest shows to come down the pike. Carrie's watching now.
What's that?
Deception on ABC.
Deception. What is it?
Would you believe a magician who works with the cops to solve crimes?
A magician.
I'm there.
No,
I am
Bill
there.
Bixby was in that show.
I was
No.
hoping you would remember
Yeah.
that.
Bill Bixby was in that show.
And it was in the old comic strip. Mandrake the Magician was
Yeah.
the same. He worked with the.
What was the
not
Bill
a-
Bixby show? What was the name
I
of that?
can't remember.
Now, not a mentalist. This is like
No, he's a.
No,
he
he's a
does
magician.
card
He does
tricks,
magic tricks.
but then
So it's so he can distract. He can
It's
distract
actually
that.
illusionist.
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
I'm going to bring this fly back
It
to life.
was called The Magician.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not even that.
Yeah, it was a
Featuring Doug Henning from The World of Illusion.
Bill Bixby was a magician. He helped the cops solve crimes.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I don't think it lasted a season.
It was about a season, yeah.
And they canceled it.
There are no new ideas.
This is a leftover. This is announced way back in the fall, and now they're kind of dumping it in March and hoping no one notices that we made this thing.
Somebody has got to watch it.
We put money in this thing.
Somebody's going to be held accountable.
It's terrible. And that is your week there.
That's the week?
Yeah.
Someone in the text is asking about Archer.
Archer, coming very soon.
Yes. I saw... What was the premise of it?
They're on an island.
Yeah.
And it's another period piece. They're like in the 30s, I think.
So is that leading us to believe that Archer is still in a coma?
I believe so, yes.
Imagining all of this stuff?
Huh?
Yeah. The season is called Archer Danger Island.
Danger Island.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Because see, at the end of one season, he was shot and pretty much dead.
Yeah.
And in a coma.
You all thought I was
And that's
dead.
how it ended.
Yeah.
Then the new season was him in the 40s, and all of the characters were different people, but they were...
It's what I'm imagining while I'm in my coma.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so
it's another like that.
It's another like that.
I like that. That's cool. I should watch that show.
It's a fun show.
I just love John Benjamin's voice so much.
It's a very funny show.
Yeah, I'll let you know when it
Is
comes
that
back
everything?
very soon.
All right, thank you very much.
Hey, what was the name of that series that was like I'll ask you off the air.
Okay.
Because I can't remember.
Bill's getting his private viewing lined up.
All right. Thank you very much.
Crash northbound I-15 at 6 North. It's off to the right shoulder. And that's it. I'm even going to our friends in the text 33986 place. And there's nothing there. So
all right,
things are good.
Here are your boner candidates coming up for round 2. Number 1, you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir. Boner candidate number 2, look, it's a small campus. And boner candidate number 3, there will be secrets between us.
All right. Round 2 of your boner voting coming up. Also, Geek News on the radio. Stand by. Hey, you get a brand new episode every Monday. It's free and not safe for work. Find us at geekshowpodcast.com or wherever you get podcasts from. But if you haven't seen Black Panther, don't listen this week.
I've got a show. I'll be playing Flynn in Twilight.
Light.
Light.
L-I-T-E?
L-I-T-E. Yep. I'm the bully. You know.
Are you the wolf boy?
No.
You're not the
no,
wolf boy.
No, I wish. I pitched to be the guy who takes his shirt off at one point for no reason.
You love to take your shirt off.
I absolutely do.
Kind of like the Will Ferrell of this station.
Okay.
But no, the show is I'm the only guy that looks like he could beat up another guy in all of theater in Utah. So
they're all pale, vegetarian.
Yeah, and thin. We had plenty of people who could play the vampire type, but not very many who could play the bully. I'll guilt you guys into that show another time.
I'm a shed vampire.
I'm the only one who goes to your plays anymore.
Oh, I went.
Oh, yeah, you did.
And Gina may come to this one because it's a Twilight spoof.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And we all know Gina loves Twilight.
The sparkly vampires.
Yeah. We got this.
Are you going to sparkle?
I don't sparkle because I'm not a vampire.
He's a bully.
But
we do have a sparkly vampire. You bet. And a Bela Lugosi vampire too.
Undead.
So like, there's this old-fashioned vampire.
Don't worry about
trying to figure out what the young vampires are.
What
I don't understand this.
You kids today.
I don't understand this. And you're fast running.
What is this? You can go outside.
What? Yeah. What? Can you see yourself in the mirror? That's what I want.
Look, have some wine. All right.
Guess we just sort of wrote the play, didn't we?
Is that it?
Wrote and ended.
And performed.
There you go. Kids, there's something the matter with kids today. Kids, they go and sparkle outside in the day.
There it is. Yep, little musical number. Yep.
Easy.
Desert Star Playhouse. Be there.
The shut'll come out tomorrow, and he'll be able to stand outside. I hate him. I miss the sun.
Oh,
You owe Carrie money now.
I know. I used to be tan, you know this. I had a house in Palm Beach. Aw, damn. Blow this. No, that doesn't. I'll get there.
Here comes the sun. You better run, you dumb old vampire.
We get
Deedle.
we sparkle. Da 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 da. Ah, you kids.
I like the dessert bar there at the Desert Star Playhouse.
Does the old vampire carry an umbrella? He should.
No, but that is a great idea.
Okay. You owe me a dollar.
There's
and,
that
and
too.
Count
Oh,
Chocula.
yes, Count
Of course.
Chocula
Count
has to be in there.
Chocula's got to be there, and the Count, and oh, that joke's in there. You know it.
Yep.
Radio from Hell Show on X96. Call 877-602-9696 or text us at 33986. Message and data rates apply.
Well, that's how you will vote for round 2 of your boners. 3 news stories that are examples of bad, stupid, or funny human behavior. You will decide with your vote who of these 3 is the worst. Which one of these 3 stories deserves to go forward and get a 50-50 chance of becoming Boner of the Day. If it wins here, goes up against the winner of round 1. We did that at 7:20. Boner fight happens at 9:20. That's when we throw them both in the ring and let them duke it out. 2 candidates now, then a third after the news. Once you've heard all 3, then you will vote. One of you lucky random Boner voters will receive.
Perhaps you'll be at the liquor store today, and you'll run into Bill.
What do you mean,
Allred.
perhaps?
You'll run into
Oh.
Bill Allred there, and you'll see him, and you'll go, "Hey, I was a random Boner voter today. I'm here for my hearty handshake."
Yep, it happens. As a matter of fact, Gina, I have offered or I have given a hearty handshake in the liquor store.
I figured.
Yeah. Here's Boner candidate number 1. You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir. When Lamont McIntyre was exonerated for a double murder in October, he walked out of a Kansas prison with a clean record. Oh, by the way, he had been in that prison for 23 years.
Wow.
He walked out of the prison with a clean record and not a dime to his name. After losing 23 years of his life behind bars, the state of Kansas is offering him zip. Nothing. Kansas is one of the 18 states in the nation that offer wrongfully convicted prisoners no compensation on their release.
How is that okay?
It's not.
I think
How do you look in the mirror and go, "Yeah,
Kansas.
that's all right"?
I think it's unjust, but me being angry about it is not going to change it, McIntyre said. You know, like you having to move your desk, Gina.
It's an injustice.
It is an injustice.
But as he
I won't
said,
let it go.
Gina, as he said, yes, I spent 23 years in prison. They're giving me nothing, but being angry about it is not going to change anything.
He needs a lot, surely.
Tricia Bushnell of the Midwest Innocence Project, or MIP, worked to win Mr. McIntyre's release. She said Mr. McIntyre has other reasons to be angry. She called this case the perfect storm. For example, at his trial back in 1994 when he was 17, there was no physical evidence or motive presented. Worse, According to his current lawyers, lead police detective Roger Golbuski built the case by threatening witnesses. Bushnell said that the fallout may impact other potential exonerations. She said there are about a dozen people behind bars in Kansas whose cases are connected to this same detective.
So why isn't he in jail?
He has since retired and said, "I didn't do nothing wrong." But Mark Dupree, who became the state's attorney a year ago, has asked the Kansas Bureau of Investigation to review his conduct. If my office receives information that there's probable cause to charge Mr. Golbuski, it will happen, Dupree said. But so far, this guy, Mr. Lamont McIntyre, went to prison when he was like 17, 18, just got out, no compensation.
Not okay.
You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Thank you, Kerry. That's boner candidate number 1. Boner candidate number 2. Oh, jeez. Look, it's a small campus. I debated about this one. A former standout lacrosse player has sued Westminster College, saying it placed more value on the privacy of a male student who had sexually assaulted her than on her safety. According to the lawsuit, the college violated a restraining order and violated Title IX regulations by housing Kennedy Flavin within 100 feet of the man who had sexually assaulted her in high school when they were both minors.
Oh, in high school. Not
in high school.
Okay.
They were both minors. The school then refused to move his dorm or make other arrangements to protect Kennedy Flavin, the woman. Title IX charges universities with ensuring students that they receive education without sex-based discrimination. The lawsuit filed Wednesday also accuses the school of discriminating against Kennedy Flavin for being deaf. Westminster created an environment so severe, pervasive, and objective and offensive that Flavin, who is now 18, was forced to leave the school. The president of Westminster says we take these allegations seriously. We've done everything we could, and so forth and so on. You know, the straight line. But Flavin was in high school when her then boyfriend raped her, according to the lawsuit. In juvenile court, he admitted to guilt, sexual battery, unlawful sexual conduct with a minor, even though he himself was. He was given probation and ordered to have no contact with her. So she graduates from high school. She gets a scholarship and goes to Westminster.
Okay.
But the boy who's not named, the young man who is not named, decides instead of going to, I think he was going to go into the Marines or something like that. He decides, I'm going to go to college, and he enrolls in Westminster College. Okay. He was going to enlist in the Marines. Flavin panicked as she realized that the juvenile court stalking order had expired. It stated that he had to stay 100 feet away from her and withdraw from any classes that the two were enrolled in. But the school assigned the man to a dormitory nearly within an arm's length of her building, her dormitory, and due to the way the buildings are positioned, the lawsuit said he could almost look into her window.
Surely they could have made some other accommodation.
You'd think they could put him in a different room even.
She complained to the school, which responded that the distance from the ex-boyfriend's building door to the sidewalk, around the corner, and up to the door is more than 100 feet. So that's more than 100 feet, they said.
What's so hard about saying, you know what, yeah, we'll put him a little further away just so this doesn't cause any other problems?
There's one other thing, too. This really made me tip the scales for me, and I thought, no, I'm going to make this a boner candidate. So the man joined the school's men's lacrosse team.
Okay.
Now, she's on the girls' lacrosse team. And that means that he would have to use the same athletic facilities as her.
That's right.
Westminster scheduled them to have their athletic physicals at the same time.
Okay.
When Ms. Flavin complained, the lawsuit says, this is according to her lawsuit, her physical was rescheduled to take place with the women's basketball team while the male student was allowed to stay with his teammates. That seems kind of crappy, doesn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, boner candidate number 2. Look, it's a small campus. You know, we don't have another building for you.
All right.
Coming up in a moment, boner candidate number 3. Look, there will be secrets between us.
All right, round 2, boner candidate number 3. After this here, big boy news and Opinnuendo, brought to you by...
Bad Apple has a low price guarantee on iPhone screen repair. Just bring in the advertised price from another business, and Bad Apple will beat it. 10 locations along the Wasatch Front. Go to badapplerepair.com.
Tragedy.
What?
David Ogden Stiers, 75.
Did he
Major
do anything
Winchester?
except Major Winchester?
Oh, yes. Now, he got that role. He was fairly young when he got that role.
Yeah, even though he was playing someone very old.
But he was. I happened to see him act on stage. He was a graduate of Juilliard, and when I was at Penn State years ago, the Juilliard company came to Penn State and did 2 plays, and I saw David Ogden Stiers and Patti LuPone in these plays, and I still remember their performances, both of them. Patti LuPone was really very young. She was a college student, and at that time, I remember thinking, watching her from a distance on stage, wow, she's hot. And David Ogden Stiers was in a play, a comedy of manners, where he was kind of like Charles Winchester. He was good at that, playing a stuffy guy, but he was great. And he did other stuff, but he got that role when he was pretty young, and he didn't have to do anything else.
Gone too soon.
Well, he was 75.
Well, too soon for you.
Yeah. Well, Richie's MASH festival.
MASHCon. I can't tell you how many people tweeted or Facebooked me about that.
It's never going to happen now.
Now hang on,
Bill.
Bill.
Who do you have left? Radar.
Sure.
You got Colonel.
Nope.
No, both the colonels are dead.
He finally
Alan
did?
Alda.
Yep,
Alan
Alda.
Loretta
Radar.
Swit.
Loretta Swit's still around.
Oh,
Hot Lips.
You got. You've got the Mud Hens. The Toledo
Jamie
Mud
Farr.
Hens. Jamie
Not
Farr.
much longer. He's in his late 80s.
Yeah.
Is he that old?
BJ. You still have BJ.
BJ
Mike
Honeycutt,
Farrell.
yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. You got who's in charge of the motor pool?
Rizzo.
Rizzo.
Yeah.
What is that actor's
Yeah, we
name?
get
He's
offers
good.
to interview him every 6 months on the radio.
He's actually pretty good.
So after everyone calling me out saying, hey, you know what, you need to get on this MASHCon, I posted a picture in the Salt Lake Fan X group I'm a part of, right? And said, who would be down to pay extra money for a photo opportunity and a meet and greet with Alan Alda? And I just sort of did it because I've always told Dan Farr and Brian Brandenburg, the 2 guys who run Salt Lake Fan X, that they should do it. And they sort of dismiss me like, oh, okay, Richie, that's fine, or whatever. Over 100 people commenting, yeah, you bet, I would pay money. This would be the first one.
I'd pay
I would
money
bring
for a picture with Alan
It's
Alda.
interesting. You know what I take from that story is that there are other people who dismiss Richie.
Yeah, yeah. It is interesting that you take that from it, but it's interesting what I take from it, which is I feel like I'm right and endorsed by people who are saying, yeah, he's not alone.
Well,
so hopefully, but apparently most of the people in MASH don't do conventions and stuff like that.
Well,
so Richie discovered that Alan Alda has fans, and that's what we learned.
And now
today.
shall we do what we always do, kind of like Brian Brandenburg, and let's. Richie, well, that's great.
Oh,
that's great.
And Nurse Kelly is still around.
Nurse Kelly.
Yeah.
Nakamura.
Yes.
What's her name? Somebody Nakamura. Well, good luck with that, Richie. Good luck. And now, please get out.
MASH.
Devin Nunes. Do you have this Colbert stuff?
I did yesterday. I don't know what...
Representative Devin Nunes said Saturday that Stephen Colbert's jokes about him are a danger to this country. Could have made this a boner candidate.
Mm-hmm.
He's that powerful, is he?
Colbert traveled to the Capitol on Friday's episode of The Late Show in a spoof mission to tease information out of congressmen about possible collusion between President Trump and Russia. Colbert was armed with his own memo stating, Devin Nunes is a, and then it's redacted. Now, I think that's from the memo.
That's in the memo?
Yeah. It's Devin Nunes is a, and then it's redacted. So Colbert goes around to various senators like Mark Warner, Democrat of Virginia, and asked him if he was jealous that Representative Adam Schiff gets to work with Nunes. But then he kept asking people, so he'd show them the menu, the memo.
Is a what?
Devin Nunes is a, and how do you think that should be answered?
It's a little comedy joke thing.
And
It's
they
fine.
Now, Nunez says this is a danger that we have in this country.
What?
When he was asked about it by Fox News' Neil Cavuto. The left controls not only the universities in this country, they also control Hollywood in this country and the mainstream media. So conservatives in this country are under attack, he said.
This is the right's new thing.
They attack people who are trying to get to the truth, like me. But he did go on to say, but I think it's great. Keep doing it. Because I think he started adding that because he realized how it sounded.
You sound crazy.
That he sounded like a crazy person. So
yeah, that's he's been pounding this drum. Dana Lash is pounding it as well. Is that the left controls Hollywood and the media, and so we're always under attack by their jokes.
You are the media. Fox News is the
They're the number one rated news. They're the mainstream media.
They're the media.
Legal experts, including a Brigham Young University professor, have labeled the Down syndrome abortion bill before the Utah legislature as all but certainly unconstitutional.
Yep.
Did you get that?
Yeah.
Including a Brigham Young University professor. Physicians point out that it needs to be clarified and even then would limit the ability to have open conversations with their patients. The data suggests few Utah women seek an abortion for a Down syndrome diagnosis in the first place. Nevertheless, HB 205, which would criminalize doctors who perform an abortion if the sole reason was Down syndrome, has so far cleared every hurdle in the Utah legislature and is awaiting final approval on the Senate floor.
This is so
Here's
subjective.
what would happen. If the bill passes, it will face legal challenges.
Yes. That we're all going to pay for.
But nobody wants to say they voted against the Down syndrome abortion bill. That's the sole reason it's going through. Well, I have to push this through because then my constituents are going to think I'm pro.
BYU law professor Mark Frederick Geddix, who recently weighed in a letter to legislature's Senate the request of Planned Parenthood of Utah. So they contacted him at BYU and said, "What do you think?" And he said, it's not constitutional, and the state will be tied up with legal fees. And there are examples of other states who've tried to do this same legislation. So far, none of it has been approved. It's been challenged in courts, and nobody's been able to pass it.
It's not about passing it. It's about being able to stand up in front of a TV camera and say, I tried to outlaw this. I voted for this. Nobody thinks it's going to become law.
But what it's about is exactly what Gina's talking about, is a hollow, empty, expensive gesture.
Yes. That will cost this, but overspending in government is an issue unless it's something that's going to make me look good.
Exactly. And if you vote against it, then they use that in their next campaign ad.
By the way, how many abortions do you think are performed in Utah because a baby has Down syndrome? It is a minuscule percentage.
Who keeps track of that?
They do.
No, they don't.
Yes, I've got the statistics right here. They do. Excuse me. It says exact figures on Down syndrome-related abortions are not available, but an average of 83 Utah babies were born with the genetic disorder each year between 2010 and 2014, according to most recent data. So we know how many babies with Down syndrome are born. Out of 3,000 total Utah abortions, there were 40 due to some kind of malformation. Not necessarily just Down syndrome, just some kind.
You don't have to put on a form why you're getting an abortion. You can just get an abortion. Yeah. In your head, it can be, well, this baby has Down syndrome and I don't want to deal with that. You don't have to write that down anywhere.
No, you don't.
Nobody knows
why. But apparently, somebody has to write down, Gina. It says here that somebody's apparently having to write down that this abortion was performed because there was a malformation of the child. It doesn't say what it is, but somebody has to. I guess, and Dr. Torres might be able to tell us exactly. But whoever performs the abortion has to do it.
Oh, here she is tweeting me right now. So let's. I wish she'd text me instead of.
She said nobody asks about Downs. That's what she's texting.
No one
me.
asks about Down syndrome.
Not specifically.
Constituents might think our legislators value pregnant people over fetuses. Let's see. Yeah, it says no one asks about Down syndrome.
So anyway, it would be a small fraction of any abortion performed in Utah. But let's go ahead and just do a stupid piece of legislation that will cost money.
Yep. Sports, weather, traffic.
Sports. Let's see. Kobe Bryant won an Oscar.
Okay.
Probably shouldn't have, but he did. The Jazz, they're home tonight to Orlando. That game is at 7 o'clock at Vivint Smart Home Arena. Weather, pretty nice today, partly cloudy, 43 for a high. And traffic, we've got a slow slog up Little Cottonwood Canyon toward the ski areas. Very, very slow going. It looks like the roads are clear, but they were just kind of late getting them open this morning. They were doing some avalanche abatement, I guess is what they call it.
You know, by the way, a slow slog is one of my favorite drinks. I have to make me a slow slog, will you?
Slow slog.
Love
that. That's traffic.
All right.
Let's see. We have boner candidate number 3. There will be secrets between us. A Connecticut legislator, Hartford, Connecticut, accused of sending affectionate texts to a 16-year-old girl, is being investigated by police, officials say. Capitol Police Officer Scott Driscoll and his department received information involving Representative Angel Arce, A-R-C-E, and that an investigation is underway to determine if a crime had been committed. The Hartford Courant published a series of texts that the 57-year-old Hartford, Connecticut Democrat allegedly sent to the teen in 2015, but they have just surfaced. One read, "Good night, love, and sweet dreams. And thank you for coming into my life."
Well, those are nice things.
He's 57, she's 16 at
Oh,
the time,
wait,
Gina.
no, that's
Other
not-
messages included, "You are so beautiful and gorgeous. I think we are going to keep a lot of secrets between us."
Creepy.
The Hartford Courant said the messages apparently were sent from Arce's Facebook Messenger and were provided to the newspaper by the teen, who is now 18. And she, for some reason, thought, okay, I better let people know. His attorney says he did nothing improper and will not comment further. Now, okay, maybe they didn't have a relationship.
No, it's still
It
wrong.
strongly implies
Still
that they
wrong.
might have, but it's still creepy and awful. Boner candidate number 3, there will be secrets between us.
Just, hearing a few of those texts, his sexting game could use some work. Not once did he use the eggplant emoji.
No.
Not once. So let's review the first 2 and vote.
Number 1, you get nothing, you lose. Good day, sir. A Kansas man wrongfully imprisoned for 23 years gets no compensation as he's released from prison. Went to prison when he was 17. He gets nothing. Boner candidate number 2, look, it's a small campus. Oh, full disclosure on this candidate. The story was in the Salt Lake Tribune, but a friend of ours, Dale Bohm, is the attorney representing the young woman in this case. Probably ought to mention that.
All right.
But college sex assault victim and her attacker in neighboring dorm violating a stalking order according to a Title IX lawsuit. And boner candidate number 3, there will be secrets between us.
All right, here we go. You got to vote. This is round 2. You've got to decide which one of these 3 candidates, which one deserves to go forward to a boner fight and get a 50-50 chance of becoming boner of the day. That happens at 9:20. So we got to pick a winner for this round to go up against the winner of round 1. 1, 2, or 3, you decide. Put the candidate number that you think should win in the message of a text, then text that to our short code 33986. You can call 877-602-9696. Use your voice to vote. Or go to x96.com and look for the box that says Boner Voting March 5. Vote there. You've got 4.5 minutes. Let's go. This is round 2.
John Smith kicks off a 1-hour non-stop music wingding at the conclusion of Radio from Hell on X96.
I have a 7-year-old, so
Exactly.
who's starting competition soccer.
Say goodbye to the rest of your weekends
Well,
for the rest of your life.
That's what I'm saying. It all starts tomorrow. They have a tournament tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
They have a game at 11. No, they have a game at 2. They have a game at 7.
Mm-hmm.
Friday they have a game at 11, and we're going to be up at Snowbird. So somehow I have to get from Snowbird to. This is going to be. This is my life. Now.
I would suggest using your car. I think you would use your car.
Let me ask you a question. Was it his idea to play
Yes.
soccer?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Because that's when you need to have the talk with him and say, look, okay, I understand you want to play soccer, but guess what? Mommy is saying goodbye to her weekends now because of this.
It's a huge commitment. It's expensive.
Here's what you do.
And it's a huge commitment.
I'm sure if you search around, you know how you have found a person to do almost everything for you. Rather than clean up the dog crap in your yard, you have found a person who will do that for you. Rather than deal with the lice problem yourself, you found the lice lady.
Yeah.
I'll bet you anything there is a person out there who will go to the soccer games for you.
But I like to go to.
Then quit bitching about it.
No, I'm just saying it begins, and Carrie's absolutely right.
Yeah.
It is.
This isn't just you playing soccer here. You need to know this, kid. This is about me taking you, transporting you, and the other two,
And it starts small when they're 7, but pretty soon it's out of state tournaments.
Yeah,
multiple times a year.
Mm-hmm.
It's a huge,
which is really kind of ridiculous if you think about it. Out of state tournaments, really?
Yep.
For 7-year-olds. Yeah.
Exactly.
Here's how people catch the bird flu: by close contact with birds or bird droppings. Some people have caught bird flu by cleaning or pluck. Did you pluck any birds?
I
while
didn't
you were on
pluck
vacation?
anything.
There was no plucking going on in the
No.
trailer. I guess it is kind of close quarters, the kids can hear.
There's no plucking in the trailer.
Mom, what are you doing?
I'm plucking a chicken.
Your dad and I are plucking a chicken.
Keep plucking that chicken. Is that what they said? Keep plucking that chicken.
It is also possible that some people were infected after swimming or bathing in water contaminated with the droppings of infected birds, and some. Here it is. You've handled a fighting cock.
That's
That
it.
was it.
That's it.
You handled a
I
fighting
have
cock.
to admit, I've handled a fighting.
You handled a fighting cock. There have been a few cases where one infected person caught the bird flu virus from another person, but it never has happened. It does not happen by eating infected animals.
But I knew it was living amongst. It's not the mosquito bite, but
No.
it's living amongst them. That,
And it happens a lot in Egypt.
Our attorney,
does.
Ed Brass says sounds like your DNA dad is Marty Feldman because of your eye drooping and oozing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've got another person who is saying, out-of-state tournaments. This is Gina's way of telling you that she'll be taking time off.
Oh, I see.
Not yet.
This is her way of telling us
This one
now.
is just here.
And then it'll get announced on a Thursday.
Yeah. By the way, I'll be gone tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because
And then she'll say, I told you that this would happen.
Because her husband can't possibly take the time off to go to the out-of-state tournament.
No.
But you can. Because this job isn't.
He
as
has a real
important.
job.
Yeah, this isn't.
This isn't a real job.
No, not to you. It isn't. And certainly the way we treat.
Why
you.
should it be?
No, we're going to create a rent-a-mom business. I think this is a great idea here.
Radio from Hell on X96.
All right, 8:46. Time to award round 2 of your boner voting.
And round 2 of the boner voting is brought to you in part by Roasted Broccoli.
And stop buying disposable office printers off the shelf at the big box store. Get the highest quality commercial-grade printers at Valley Office Systems for a whole lot less than you'd expect. ValleyOfficeSystems.com.
At boner candidate number 1, you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir. The Kansas City man imprisoned wrongfully for 23 years. He was railroaded, really. 17 years old, he goes to prison. And they finally prove that he was innocent. They get him out, and he gets no compensation from the state, has not a dime to his name.
That's wrong.
He says, I want to spend the rest of my life being happy. I don't want to be bitter. That's taking away from me.
You're too
I don't
good.
have any more time to give, he said. Boner candidate number 2, well, look, it's a small campus. Westminster College, according to a Title IX lawsuit against them, put a sex assault victim and her attacker in neighboring dormitories that are so close that he could almost look into her window. And boner candidate number 3, there will be secrets between us. A lawmaker in Connecticut sending texts to it. And by the way, this is a Democratic lawmaker. You know, people say, I always only report the Republican ones. There are just more of them usually.
Yeah.
Anyway, there will be secrets between us. Lawmaker text to a teen, sparking a police investigation because they're creepy. Yes, I will give you a hearty handshake upon request if you tell me you are a random boner voter. And the winner, number 1, wins. You get nothing, you lose. Good day, sir.
All right, there's your round 2 winner. It now goes up against the round 1 winner in Boner Fight. So it has a 50-50 chance of becoming Boner of the Day. You will decide who Boner of the Day is at 9:20. You'll have to choose between those 2 candidates. Is this sponsored?
Yeah, always. Our friends at Cabin Fever. Action figures, playing cards, jigsaw puzzles, gift books, magic, and more. Cabin Fever carries a large selection of awesome givable and receivable merchandise located in the heart of Trolley Square, 5th South, 7th East. Cabin Fever, so much more than a card store.
So much.
All right. Brand new episode of GeekShowPodcast.com, available right now. Name of the episode is Vin Saint.
What?
Vin Saint.
Okay.
You'll just have to tune in to find out why.
If you don't mind me piggybacking on that, I should mention that one of your panelists,
yes,
Lee George Cade, is the guest on the Let's Go Eat Show.
Really?
At the letsgoeatshow.com.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, he is a fascinating human being.
Yes, he is.
And he has been in my life for 20 years or more, kind of on the peripheries, and I haven't even realized it sometimes. It was just we did deep dives on a lot of stuff.
He is my Obi-Wan. He saved me.
I can see that.
He did.
He's great, and was an interesting. So yeah, so Geek Show fans maybe listen to the podcast with Lee George Cade.
Very interesting fellow.
Indeed.
All right. A lot of things. The big news. Any spoilers in this week's Geek Show? For what?
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't think so. Anyway.
Oh, spoil something.
All right, we will. That's what we've discovered is that people like the spoilers.
Well, because if they've seen it, they want to hear your take.
Here's the thing: we don't do deep dives until something's been out for a long time. But we did this Black Panther deep dive, and people loved it. And anytime we do a deep dive on like the Star Wars movie, people love the spoilers.
Yeah.
And then they complain about the spoilers. You know, I don't understand. I don't know.
It's terrible.
You can't make anybody happy.
No.
Let's see. Speaking of Black Panther, ruled the box office for 3 weeks now, easily beating Red Sparrow and Death Wish.
My kids have seen it twice.
Really?
Red Sparrow?
Yeah. No.
Oh.
Black Panther.
So I wonder about Black Panther. Jimmy Kimmel made a joke about it, about all the pictures that are nominated for the Oscars right now for Best Picture, and Black Panther is kicking their ass. That wasn't exactly the joke, but so I thought, well, I wonder if next year Black Panther will maybe even be nominated for Best Picture. I doubt it. I think it's a possibility.
Well,
I really think it's a possibility.
Wonder Woman wasn't nominated for one thing.
Well, as a
Not
woman,
one.
which is strange. It
No, I
should have
mean
been.
it's because it.
Well,
if you remember when it came out, it had the hype. Like, it had.
Listen,
we were talking about it the same way we're talking about Black Panther.
if Black Panther doesn't at least get nominated for costumes,
sure,
there is an injustice.
or scenic design
Yeah.
too.
Because I mean, the research and the thought that were put into all of those costumes is just astounding.
Put me down right now. They're going to get nominated for something more major than that. Best actor.
I hope so.
Maybe
Best actor,
or maybe best picture.
Killmonger, he was pretty good.
Yeah,
They were
We'll
both
see.
good.
We'll see.
Something major.
Well, if you need your Black Panther fix,
Mm-hmm.
of course you can go watch Civil War on your Blu-ray.
Yeah.
You got Black Panther there. You can go see him in the theater. But if you just can't wait for May 4th to see Infinity War,
Yeah.
which Black Panther is in,
Right.
you don't have to.
I don't.
It's a very interesting move that Marvel did. They lay claim to the first Saturday in May, which is also Free Comic Book Day.
Mhm.
For the past 10 years, we've had a superhero movie open on the first Saturday in May.
Did they realize that we're losing audience because they were competing with Free Comic Book Day?
It's just been a nice kind of coincidence. Started with the Iron Man movie, and it continued. For the past 10 years, we have had a superhero movie open on Free Comic Book Day.
10 years.
And Marvel reserved the spot, May 4th.
Okay.
We're going to open Infinity War on May
Okay.
4th.
Yeah.
They've changed their mind.
What?
And because you're Marvel Studios, you can do this. They're moving it up a week. So we're going to open it on April 27th instead. I know we promised May 4th, but now we're going to open it on April 27th.
Earlier is better. I mean, I don't think anyone's going to complain about
It's just a week early, and they're not saying why they're doing it.
You think there's something behind? I mean, there's obviously something behind it.
Well, April 27th was the release date for this movie internationally. And that's usually what happens with these movies is that, they open internationally and then a week later they open here.
Right.
And they've decided just to open it all at once at the same time.
Why not?
And nobody knows why. I think maybe it's a combination of wanting to cash in on the heat that Black Panther has right now and spoilers.
Oh, because once it's opened overseas,
Because when it opens overseas a week,
it's all out there.
Because this is a pivotal couple of movies.
That's
These Infinity War
That's
films.
exactly the reason.
Because the entire Marvel Studios universe is going to change after these because they can't afford the Chris Hemsworths anymore.
Are they going to start being reduced to, third-tier actors wearing costumes that they made at home?
It's the guys out in front of the Chinese theaters
yeah.
that your picture taken.
Get in here.
And guys, like RDJ is getting a little long in the tooth to be wearing the armor. So the whole universe is going to change.
Well, you could put him, never show him, just put him in the Iron Man suit, and it's not really him, it's just his voice.
Yeah, that could be.
You could do that.
Let's see. On the DC front, they've had a lot of trouble, especially with this Flash movie. They've gone through 3 or 4 different directors. Well, they've finally signed a couple more. John Francis Daley and Jonathan Goldstein are going to direct the Flash movie. Flashpoint is what they're calling it. They co-wrote Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they also wrote and directed this Game Night, which is out right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, the Flash is an inherently funny character, and so
I like that. Yeah, he's
with those
I
two.
like the actor. I like.
Yeah, with those two connected, it'll be.
Who's the actor?
What's his name?
I don't know.
He's a funny guy?
He was just funny.
He was in Justice League.
Yeah, he was funny.
Flash was in Justice League. Now, here's a weird one, because they're making Wonder Woman 2.
Mm-hmm.
And back in 1943, Wonder Woman #6 was the issue that introduced the Wonder Woman villain Cheetah.
Okay.
Cheetah.
Okay.
And it's exactly what you would
Right,
think.
yeah.
It's a woman dressed like a cat, and
she's fast.
She has.
I thought you said Cheeto. I'm sorry.
Power of the Cheetahs is
the power of the Cheeto.
Dr. Barbara Ann Minerva is the name of the character. She is a British anthropologist and heiress who gains the powers of the cheetah after an expedition into an African jungle.
Okay.
They're talking to, now picture in your head this character. You
Okay,
can even
I-
Google image Wonder Woman cheetah, and you'll
Okay.
see. They're talking to Kristen Wiig
All right.
about
So
playing
it's a comedy
this character.
She
It's,
can do, she does serious stuff.
It's
just not who you picture.
Well, I don't.
I mean, I love her. I love her, but it's just kind of an odd choice. So there's that. You remember The Crow? That
Yes.
movie, Brandon Lee?
Yeah.
Yes.
Now they're going to remake that with Jason Momoa.
They're going to try to make it a good movie this time.
Well, I don't know, because it says here that they're going to be faithful to the adaptation of the indie comic from James O'Barr. I was bored silly by the
now
comic myself.
you know how I love me.
Mm-hmm.
You love you?
My Jason Momoa.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want him in this movie.
Well, he's in it. It's coming. And, this is exciting. Mark Wahlberg's next project. You'll be excited about this. You know, because of inflation, he will be playing Steve Austin, the $6 billion man, in a movie.
Whatever.
Yeah, I know you're excited
No, I'm
about
not.
that. So you got Mark Wahlberg playing.
Is Lindsay Wagner going to be in it?
No.
She's dead.
Is
No,
she?
she's not.
She's
No,
passed.
she
I know
has
she's
not
passed. Lindsay Wagner is
She
passed.
has not passed. I will be taking the day off when Lindsay Wagner dies.
Prove it. Prove it.
Wow.
I love the Bionic Woman, Carrie.
I heard that she was going to be that she was in a cemetery and she was going to be buried next to Charles Emerson Winchester.
What? Crash southbound I-15 at North Temple, downtown Salt Lake. 2 right lanes are blocked there. Crash northbound I-15 in Midvale, 72nd south. It's off to the right shoulder. And Cottonwood Canyon, Little Cottonwood Canyon, extra slow this morning. I think they were slow to open today, and everyone wanted to get up there to go skiing. Well, you're all waiting in a line now.
I just looked it up. She's still alive.
Yeah, I told you she was.
Well, I
You
had to
don't
make
believe
sure.
me.
No.
Do you have the DVDs, the DVD collection of the Bionic Woman series?
I don't. But I had the lunchbox, and I had the action figure where you could take out a piece of her arm, and there were wires in it.
Wow.
Now, she didn't have the bionic eye, right? She had a
No, that
bionic
was-
ear.
She had a bionic ear.
A bionic ear.
Yeah.
And she had this jogging suit that had little Velcro things you could open up so you could look at the wires in her arm.
Wow.
It was cool.
Yeah, look. Those are the wires
She
in her
could
arm.
rip a phone book in half, okay?
The action figure?
I do it all the time.
The action did you have the action figure do that?
No.
Are you sure
She
she's
shoulda
not being
come with a
buried
little
next to David Ogden Stiers?
No, she's Lindsay Wagner's
All right. We'll take a break. We'll be back. KXRK Provo.
X96 is your home for non.
I haven't dyed my goatee.
Don't. Look
Well,
stupid.
I'm not going to. You, however, Gina, should.
Dye my goatee?
I think
Is
so.
it
yeah.
embarrassing?
It is. It's getting to be embarrassing.
People are talking.
You dye your hair and you dye your eyebrows, but you just let your nose hairs and your goatee go. And when you have gray nose hairs and a gray goatee,
I've been nose waxing. I've been going to your nose
You
wax
have?
place. Yes. What do you can't tell?
no, I don't make a habit of looking up your nostrils.
Good, I'm glad.
I looked up your old address one time, but I didn't. But I've never looked up your nostrils. Why do you go more than? I mean, I go once every 3 months or
They
something.
call me, don't they call you? It's been about a month since you've been in.
No.
Got to get on that frequent waxer program.
There's a punch card.
Have you had Jules do it?
No, because the first time I went to somebody else, and so now I'm on.
Well, see,
her.
I think Jules is kind of a hippie or something.
She's a free spirit.
She doesn't. She does. She said. I think she said one time she'd call me, and then she never does.
No.
She never
This girl's like, Valentine's Day is coming up. You might want to get your nose waxed before Valentine's, because that's what you do before.
See, you haven't noticed any hairs hanging out my nose.
Well, it's hard because you've got a mustache, so it's hard to tell where the nose hairs begin and the.
So until it becomes really obvious, I don't have anything. I don't have any need to do it.
What's gross is when it is really obvious, even when you have a mustache. The nose hairs. Because I think some people think, well, I don't need to take care of that.
And it's usually just one rogue hair I'll notice. I'll go, wait a minute. Oh, my God.
That's why I keep tweezers in the car. Best light. Best place to do that.
In the car?
In the car with your visor down in the mirror. The light's great. You can get right up in there.
You might try concentrating on the driving part of it.
Well, I'm not doing it while I'm driving.
What do you...
If you see me in a parking lot, I'm probably plucking a hair out of somewhere.
I'd better pull over and pluck a hair out of something.
You've never looked in that mirror in the bright sunlight and gone, oh, I didn't know I had hair there?
Yeah, well, I have. But I can't.
Keep tweezers in your car.
But it's only when I'm standing on the seat. That's the only time I've ever noticed. It's when I'm standing on the seat and bending over to reach something. I didn't know I had hair there.
Wait a minute.
Somebody get me some tweezers and a long arm. So anyway, I guess we ought to start the show.
Thank you.
Ow! I don't tweeze the hairs in my nose because it brings a tear to my eye.
Oh.
Every time I do it, it's like you pull it, and doesn't it do that to you?
Sure.
Doesn't it make your eye go blunk? And
that's how I can get away with seeing Chappie in the theaters, because the robot's going to die at some point.
Come here for a minute, will you?
Do we have a giveaway here?
No.
I don't think so.
All right.
So we talked a little bit more about movies here, and I don't know, Gina. Maybe if we can combine this in this break, maybe talk a little bit about your mother's Oscar party.
Yeah.
But Nick and I had a conversation last week, and I've been thinking about it. Nick's your buddy, Nick's your pal, are one of our fine. We call you I guess you're an intern, yeah.
I've been here so long. I'm like the ancient intern.
The tale of the ancient intern. So I think it was just last week. Nick and I were talking. I don't know. You brought it up. You said, "Boy, I just got into this TV show, Westworld."
Oh, that was not last week. That was like last summer.
No, Nick. No, it was last summer that you got into it, but we were just talking about it recently.
Were we? Okay.
Yes, we were.
I like Westworld. Let's get into this.
I promise we were. And
just go with it.
So you don't remember our conversation?
I apparently do not.
So I said, yeah, it's good. You know, you had first kind of poo-pooed it and didn't think you were going to like it or watch it, and then for some reason you started watching it, and you got hooked, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. Fantastic television show, one of my favorites.
And so I said to him, well, you know, you really should watch the original movie. And he went, what? There's a movie? Yeah. It's based on a movie. I mean, and a novel by Michael Crichton. Had no idea. You had no idea of this.
Yeah, I had no. I've since looked it up, and I have not found a place to stream it. But yeah,
but you'll find it.
I'll find it. I've heard it has the same idea as Westworld. It's Westworld, not the same plot though.
You know, it's quite different, but it's still worth going and taking a look at. And it's probably, I haven't seen it in years, but it's probably kind of creaky here and there. But there's some really good things in it. But I thought, how many people don't realize that sort of thing? That, you know, movies. There are movies that are remakes of movies.
Not just that, with I was talking to Festus the other day, and we were talking about the Boys of Summer, the song.
Oh yeah.
And I said, you know, that's a remake. He's like, what? I'm like, yeah, it's a Don Henley song.
Yeah, it's one of those remakes I hate because it sounds exactly like the original.
Nick, the Westworld movie is on YouTube.
Oh,
so watch the whole thing.
Perfect.
1973.
Is it one of those YouTube things where I have to pay for it? Or
I don't think so.
Somebody just
There's
put
probably
it on
some
there?
ads on it, but
Right, I can do that.
Yeah.
I'm a cheap
Can
college
you?
student.
Oh, it says watch from $2.99. Never mind.
Oh, you do?
So you have to pay for it.
I don't get paid enough here to do that.
$2 a night. Here, Nick. Here.
That's a half hour of his time, Bill.
$2.99 here. Wait a minute.
Oh, there's a low quality version of it.
Is there?
Yeah.
Here, $3.
Okay. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Go watch it on YouTube after work, okay?
I will. I got some free time today.
All
I
right,
can do
thanks.
that.
Yeah, but I wish I could think of some more examples, but people who just, what? There was an original of that?
There are no new ideas. Everything's been done already.
Well, I got a letter from a Geek Show listener who said, I watched this Black Panther movie, and it just seemed to me kind of a ripoff of unobtainium. Avatar. Thank you.
Vibranium.
He said, well, you know, you got this secret place that nobody knows about, and they have this secret metal that can do all kinds of things. It just seemed like a ripoff of Avatar to me. I'm like, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Black Panther, 1966.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So,
and now I'm embarrassed. Give me the money back.
What? Okay.
I'm embarrassed. My mind. It's getting time for me to just stop doing this.
What?
It wasn't Nick I was talking to. I just got a text from Carlin Tallbrother. It was Carlin that I was talking to about that at my remote a week ago.
Oh.
I knew it was a recent conversation.
Thanks for going along with it.
We did talk about Westworld, though.
Yes.
Last summer, when we were up in Ogden.
You're right. I got the $3 back because I'm not helping you out with this. Carlin, I'll give you $3. But you guys look so much alike. That's
You and Carlin.
Okay.
You and Carlin
People
are.
mix you up all the time.
happens all the time.
Yeah.
I'll cancel my Spotify subscription this month, so I can get my Westworld.
Carlin, I'll give the $3 too. Yeah, it's time. It's really time for me to hang it up.
My niece didn't know that the Sounds of Silence song that we played. Didn't know it was a remake.
Oh, there's another example.
Yeah.
It's weird. But can we have time to talk about Gina's mother's Oscar party here?
Well, we have a minute or so.
Just quickly. Yeah, my mom's birthday was yesterday, and she wanted to have an Oscar party. And
I think it's amazing that your mom, by the way, I saw the cake, and they put her age on the cake. She has no problem with
Really?
Oh no, she has a problem with it.
that? Well, then why do they do that?
She's been saying I'm turning 70 for like 5 years. You know, I'm almost 70. Well, now
Oh.
she's finally 70.
And so she doesn't have a problem with it.
You are now in trouble
No,
for saying that she is 70
No,
on the
no.
radio.
Okay.
it's
No.
Okay.
But
All
the
right.
Oscar party, I was looking at pictures of it. It's quite elaborate. I had
Yeah.
no idea.
Yeah, my sister Mikkel did. She put it all together. She.
No, this really comes from. I didn't realize your mother has was it her uncle or
No, her dad.
her dad was
the
was
general-
involved with the Oscars?
Yeah, was the general manager of the Academy Awards for years. And what I didn't know, so Aunt Nan flew in for this party celebration, her sister,
Yeah.
and she told me that so he was general manager during the war.
Okay.
During the war, they didn't give out medal statues
Because all the metal had to go to the war effort.
so they made plaster statues,
mhm.
painted them gold, and said, after the war, bring your statue back and we'll trade you in for a real statue. Well, because he was the general manager during that time, when the people would bring their statue back to trade it in, he got the plaster statue.
He got to keep them?
So I said, so you have some? She said, he brought them home and let us play with them. We broke them, we ruined. She said,
God.
we don't have. She said, I so wish we had
Yeah.
saved one of those.
Would those be worth anything?
Oh, yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Yes, sure. Although, Oscars statues turn up occasionally for sale here and there.
Which is just sad.
And-
you think
and
they get
I
to a
don't know-
point where they feel like they have to sell them.
I don't know if they bring a lot of money. I guess it depends on
Depends on what it is.
Yeah, this was for technical.
Yeah.
I know I worked the lights. Or that. Kind
It's like NFL guys selling their Super Bowl rings and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that's sad.
But the party at that you have for your mom. This is a really elaborate deal. There's a dinner. There are gifts for people who get the
Because you get a ballot
Yeah.
and you fill out the ballot, and then there's prizes for people that do well in that. And well, who do you think won, Bill?
Oh, does your mother always win?
No.
Oh, you won?
Yes.
What did you win?
I got a candle.
Well,
just
And-
what you need. Another candle. Have you ever been to her house? Another candle. Oh,
in all these years, they said that all this useless knowledge would do you no good.
Mm-hmm.
But just for next year when you're planning your Oscar party, Bill, here's what you need. You print
no,
out.
no, I want to go to your mom's.
Okay, you print out a ballot,
Yeah.
and everybody fills it out before. You have red vines and popcorn and
Nice.
junior mints and, all the traditional.
How many did you get right?
I got 16 right.
Oh.
Out of how many categories?
24?
I don't remember.
Jimmy got 19 out of 24.
Well,
Good.
that's his.
By the way, I'm coming to your mom's Oscar party next year, and I'm bringing Nick and Carlin with me. Just tell her to get ready.
Or
All right?
one of them.
Yeah, well, they won't know the difference.
Have a copy of Old Westworld for me.
Okay.
We'll
now,
watch it there.
Now, remind me that I said this because I know I'll forget. All right?
Okay.
Okay.
I'll mark the date.
All right.
All right. Let's see. Coming up, we got Boner Fight, but before that, a reasonable amount of news.
All right.
I'd say. All right. Stand by.
Hi, it's me, Bill Allred, and as far as I'm concerned, there's nothing better than good conversation and good food. So I've put them together with a podcast called The Let's Go Eat Show. We eat good food and we talk to interesting people. Find my podcast at theletsgoeatshow.com.
Hi, this is Carrie here to tell you about the Xfinity service that I love so much, and this is how I do it. Because sometimes I don't plan out my TV viewing. I just few moments, but first, a reasonable amount of news and innuendo.
All right.
Brought to you by.
Try a Subway Starting 5 Fresh Value meal featuring the favorite subs of Utah Jazz starting lineup and enter to win a VIP suite experience. Go into Subway and find out how to enter.
If you go to x96.com/live, I'm hoping that you'll see this picture. Although, I don't really have any idea how Dylan actually does this. That I just randomly now just selected this news story a second ago. Although it's been in my file, and maybe he has a lot of those pictures. A statue of Harvey Weinstein. Did you see this?
A statue?
Not even a statue of Harvey Weinstein made an appearance near this year's Oscars. Casting Couch, it's called. A golden statue created by...
Ew, creepy.
I know. There it is, x96.com/live.
No.
Now, it's let me describe it here for people who are not watching. It was created by street artists Plastic Jesus and Joshua Ginger Monroe. It has been removed from its Hollywood Boulevard location, where it's been for quite a while, by its creators, by the two artists, because rain damaged it.
Oh.
And it wasn't reinstalled for the Oscars, in time for the Oscars. The life-size sculpture depicting Harvey Weinstein in a bathrobe, holding an Oscar in his lap, just about the right place, and stroking it while sitting on a couch, made headlines Thursday when it appeared at Hollywood Boulevard and La Brea Avenue near the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
It's disturbing.
Just as quickly, it was gone. Plastic Jesus, the artist, says that his crew had been keeping watch over the artwork, but it had to be removed because weather damaged it, and we won't be able to get it back up in time for the Oscars. But I like it. It says Casting Couch on it, Harvey Weinstein statue. A bill to expand Medicaid to cover tens of thousands of low-income Utahns, while also setting work requirements and an enrollment cap on the program, easily cleared its first hurdle in the Utah legislature last week. Robert Spendlove of Sandy, the sponsor of House Bill 472, called it the state's most comprehensive effort to help people out with health coverage. The bill was approved 9-3 by the House Business and Labor Committee and now heads to the full House with 4 days left before the session adjourns. It would expand Medicaid coverage for people whose incomes are below the federal poverty line. That's $12,060 a year. So that's the federal poverty line. I maintain that the federal poverty line should be around $70,000 a year. That's the line. Because I think if you're making 65, 50, 55, 60, 70, you're squeaking by barely, maybe. But anyway, for an individual and $24,600, well, that's a little better for a family of four. $24,600 family of four.
That's
not until then are you considered on. But if you're in between there somewhere, but if you're there and then you can't get health coverage, you're too well off.
It's ridiculous.
Which is ridiculous.
To get assistance. So it would cover about 60,000 Utahns. Now, under the Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare, this is Trump care, 60,000. Obamacare, it would have covered, I can't see the number here. Do you know it offhand, Sean? Can you think? There's over 100,000 that fall into that gap. So
sorry.
What are and then they're saying, and there's a work requirement. We got to prove that you're working if you're able. Because we don't want any welfare kings and queens.
Who decides if you're able? Who's in charge?
We'll
of that?
know.
I'll get a good look at you. You look strong.
They said that they have to have a work requirement. The House Rules Committee said we're going to send the bill back unless we got to put a work requirement in it. It's really they don't care. They really don't care.
No, they have no empathy.
Well, the church, their churches will take care of them.
What if they don't go to church?
Well, that's too bad. They should. And, there's a bill in the House now in the Utah State Legislature, get this, to waive fees for homeless people who want to get a copy of their birth certificate. So right now, if a homeless person, a person who has absolutely no resources, needs a copy of their birth certificate to perhaps get services, or you have to pay money to get that. I remember I got a copy of my birth certificate because I couldn't find it anywhere.
You had to pay for it.
And I paid for it. But I could afford to pay for it. And it's not a whole lot of money, but people who are living on the street.
$15 is a lot of money if you're homeless.
Yeah. So they've put a bill that'll waive the fee if you can prove you're homeless.
Well,
how do you prove you're homeless?
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, we'll have.
Wheel your shopping cart.
Let me see your shopping cart. Yep. You got a tarp?
Is a tarp a home? Does a tarp count as? Yeah. Maybe you're not homeless.
Let's see, and then now this is a little chink in the armor again. Senator Chris Murphy, Democrat of Connecticut, said Sunday that White House senior advisor and son-in-law Jared Kushner, it looks like it can be proved that he tried to sway U.S. policy in Qatar, and if it's true, he said, and it looks as though it is, he should be out of the White House.
Lock
he
him
should go.
up. Yeah. Lock him up.
Murphy is a prominent voice on foreign policy and said President Trump's son-in-law should, if these allegations that he turned on Qatar and he had a whole bunch of business dealings in Qatar, and if he might have changed U.S. policy to get some of that business deals done, if that's proved, he really should go.
Need I remind you that
Michelle
Obama tried to get your kids to eat vegetables.
Here we go.
Don't ever forget that.
Here we go.
Don't give me this Jared Kushner stuff.
I think. You know what I think?
Making money off of policy.
I think Jared Kushner's going to start squealing like a pig to Robert Mueller.
I hope so.
Squeal because he doesn't want to go to jail like his dad was in jail.
Yep,
his
dad
father
did go to jail.
spent time in prison for real estate fraud.
I get the feeling that is like there's a series of events that'll happen where they just all start throwing each other under the bus.
Yep.
And that would be wonderful.
The next Celebrity Big Brother is going to be all ex-Trump staffers, and it's going to be at Leavenworth.
Thank you, Sean Means.
I like it.
That's good.
Sean will talk with us about the Academy Awards coming up after this break. But,
and I just wanted to point out before we go to Bonafide, Donald Trump spent his 100th day at one of his golf clubs. 100 days playing golf since he took office. And you remember one of the things he kept bitching about Obama, and he spent too much time golfing.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter.
He's far outstripped.
Nobody cares.
The number of times. Okay, that's it.
It's Boner Fight with Radio from Hell on X96.
All right, this is the fight between round one and round two. And the candidate from round one, the winner was Knock It Off, You Little Twerps, right? Is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Sometimes it's so far in the past I forget. It was over an hour ago, and I try not to remember anything. But Wasatch High students facing backlash from their peers. They're going to participate in a national school walkout on March 14th, and this has happened at a couple of other schools too, and probably at more around the country. They say we're going to participate in this walkout to protest the shooting at Parkland, Florida, and people start posting things on Facebook like a picture. This is a picture of my gun. It says, for those 17 minutes, can I shoot up my school?
Ooh, jerks.
Was it only 17 minutes?
Well, it was 17.
Seems like a long time.
That's how long the walkout's supposed to be.
Yeah, because it was 17
in honor
people
of
killed.
the 17 people killed.
Yeah.
Oh, the 17 people that were killed.
Yeah.
Just, people who are posting stuff like that, you're a little twerp, knock it off. And boner candidate number 2, you get nothing, you lose. Good day, sir. A Kansas man who's been in prison, wrongfully in prison, for 23 years. He's walking out of prison a free man now after being exonerated finally. But no, nothing. Not a dime to his name. And Kansas is one of the 18 states that has no compensation clause in their laws. He gets nothing. See you later.
All right.
That's number 2.
All right, you got to decide now which one of these deserves to be boner of the day. This is Boner Fight. 1 or 2. Remember the candidate number that you think should win. Put that candidate number in the message of a text, and then text that to 33986. Easy. Or you can call, use your voice, 877-602-9696. Or go to x96.com and look for the box that says Boner Fight March 5 and vote there. If you don't see that box refresh, it should appear. Better hurry, though. You only got 4 minutes. Let's go. This is Boner of the Day.
X96 is Utah's original alternative with a 1-hour nonstop music wingding. Coming Bill Allred on X96.
So they designed it so it could be untucked, right? You leave it like this, and it's formal and casual at the same time, you know? You could wear it anywhere like...
Great shirt.
Thank you. Pretty cool, huh? They should make a girl version so you could do the same. You could even button this part so you have a tie on if you want to go to a wedding or a business meeting.
Doug, I'd like to have an open relationship. Do the whole polyamory thing.
You don't like the shirt?
Radio from Hell on X96.
All right. Time to award Boner of the Day.
And the Boner of the Day is brought to you in part by?
No, completely.
Completely by creamy macaroni and cheese and roasted broccoli. We had Boner candidate number 1. Knock it off, you little twerps. Who's ever posting threatening messages and things like that to students who are planning on taking part in the walkout on March 14th. It's a 17-minute walkout of school, high school, college. I'm kind of urging all you elementary kids who listen to the show to do it as well. Just walk out of your class for 17 minutes in honor of the 17 people who lost their lives in the Parkland, Florida shooting. That was number 1. And there are these little jerks who are posting, oh, in that 17 minutes, maybe I'll go shoot up my school and things like that. Not funny.
Oh.
And Boner candidate number 2, you get nothing, sir. You lose. Good day. Man in prison for, how many years was it? 23. Wrongfully convicted, finally gets out of prison in Kansas, and he gets nothing. He has not a dime to his name, and Kansas doesn't have any, I don't know if...
Restitution?
I think Utah does have a restitution compensation law if someone is wrongfully convicted, but somebody let me know about that. The winner, who do you think it was? Got a prediction?
They're good candidates.
I'm going to say the kids.
That's what I would have thought, but no.
Really?
Number 2, you get nothing, you lose. Good day, sir.
Wow. All right. That is Boner of the Day for Monday. It is now qualified to be Boner of the Week. We'll do that on Friday at about this time.
Here's our good friend Sean Means, film critic for the Salt Lake Tribune, and he is here. We're going to talk about the Oscars a little bit here in this break, and maybe the next one. So you watched the whole thing?
Oh yes.
And Sean is. You can find all of his writing and stuff. sltrib.com.
You know what? So I told you the snacks we had, but I saw that Sean has. You take a little different approach to your.
We do a dinner based on the inspired by the animated feature nominees.
Huh?
So,
why do you
because it started with the kids, and so it was the movies they had actually heard of.
But I like that you had the
Coco.
You could do a lot with that.
We had tacos for Coco. We had naan for the breadwinner because it was Afghan bread.
Okay.
Yeah.
We had Spanish rice for Ferdinand because we're vegetarians and we weren't going to do a steak.
Okay. You don't want to eat the poor bowl.
We did baby carrots for the boss baby, and we did orecchiette, little ears for Loving Vincent.
That was my favorite part.
The little pasta,
pasta
pastas
shaped
for
like
Loving
ears.
Vincent.
Little ears.
That's very nice, Sean. Yeah. So what did you think of the think of it overall? And
it was a fun night. The 3 hours 49 minutes.
How is that compared?
It's about par. It's what you're going to get with 24 awards and all the requisite glamour and whatnot.
I was watching some of it and I saw they're still they do a bunch of awards at different days, and then. But there's still so many awards that people they just don't care about.
They do the Governor's Awards in November, and which has become a chance to lobby, as everything is. And then they do the Scientific and Technical Awards like a couple weeks earlier, and that's the people who invented something.
Yeah, but they do like set dressing and
they do all 24 are presented that night. There's none of this.
Stop.
No, I love it. I think it's great because for one thing, it allows people to contemplate for at least a small amount of time other forms of filmmaking rather than just 90 minute to 2 hour things you see in theaters.
No, I don't mind
shorts.
I don't mind the short films and the documentaries. There are still some kind of technical things that they do, and they should get rid of Best Song. Just get rid of it. It's never good.
So how'd you do in your predictions?
I got 19 out of 24, which is a
Woo-hoo!
good year.
Good job.
Good year.
Did you get Best Picture?
I didn't, and because I listened to the experts who said that the preferential ballot could mean that the favorite might not win the way in the way that Moonlight beat La La Land last year.
Yeah.
And so I actually predicted 3 Billboards would
That's what everybody
take it over
thought.
Shape of Water, and I should have not listened to that.
Honestly, I didn't think Shape of Water was going to win.
No, I should have.
'cause
I
it was
should
a
have
genre film.
I
but
should have thought that it would have
Yeah.
won. It is interesting, I think, and I'm going to write about this in my column this week that I think the Oscar bait film is dead.
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
I mean the traditional, historical,
Like
historical
Darkest
drama.
Hour? Would it have been Darkest Hour?
Darkest Hour would have been a perfect Oscar bait film. You think of like King's Speech or Gandhi or Out of
Yeah.
Africa or that sort of stately drama that says everything that is supposed to say about how great Hollywood is and how noble their intents are.
Well, that's what I got from Shape of Water.
Yeah, that kind of. I don't think that kind of movie is going to win Oscars anymore. The way that I mean, and you look at movies.
What movies would
Darkest Hour would have been. Dunkirk would have been.
Dunkirk.
Dunkirk, you're
in that
right.
line.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
The Post would have been.
Yeah,
is
I
very
got
much in that
nothing.
now.
I thought The Post was going to win.
Yeah, they got. No, I didn't think it was going to win.
Really?
I liked it a lot, but I didn't think it was going to win.
Of course, and it just
because it only got 2 nominations. It only got nominated for Best Picture and for Meryl.
And it only made $80 at the box office.
No, it did okay for. I mean, for the serious Spielberg movie as opposed to the popcorn Spielberg movie. Ready Player One. And he always makes them in pairs. You notice that? Like Schindler's List and Jurassic Park came out at the same time. Amistad and second Jurassic Park came out at the same time. Now you've got Ready Player One and The Post coming out close to each other. So.
What I thought was interesting was Jimmy Kimmel made so many marijuana jokes.
Well,
in the parts that I saw,
it's legal in California now. So
asking Steven Spielberg if he had any pot,
if he was holding, yeah.
You holding me? he pretended he didn't recognize him, know who he was,
right?
And then asked if he had any marijuana.
And he didn't say no.
No, he didn't. As a matter of fact, he said, "Well."
Do you want to know my favorite moment?
Sure.
Yes.
Best live action short.
Uh-huh.
A category I don't care about and haven't seen any of.
Right.
The people that won were not even in the room.
No, they were in like the balcony thing.
They were off to the side. They come on stage. They're this darling couple from Australia.
Brits.
No,
Brits.
were they Brits?
Yeah.
And it's a short about a deaf child.
She starred and wrote it. She played as a social worker who was helping a deaf girl. Yeah.
And she did her whole acceptance speech in sign language.
Well, you couldn't understand that.
Well,
Yeah.
she talked.
She talked to.
But they were just so
yeah.
cute and genuine.
And that's her. I mean, I looked this up. That's her like issue of choice. That's the thing she has been lobbying for. And they've been working to get the short made for like 20 years or 10 years. And it's an amazing movie.
Well, I just want to know who won the jet ski. That's all.
The costume designer guy.
Yeah, there was a winner.
Oh, okay.
There was a winner.
They had him come out with Helen Mirren at the end. Yeah.
All right. We'll talk a little bit more about the Oscars coming up after these. Stand by.
X96 is your home for non-stop music. We give you a 1-hour non-stop music wingding 3 times a day.
That's how desperate I am.
At 10 a.m., right after Radio from Hell.
We're desperate.
At 1 p.m., while you're listening in the workplace.
Which is so completely wrong.
And at 4:30 for your drive home.
Just kill me now.
1-hour non-stop music wingdings. Radio from Hell on X96.
All right, so 7:49.
Sean Means still here in the studio. Sean is the film critic for the Salt Lake Tribune, stopping by. And then Sean will be back on Thursday. Are there any big movies you're seeing this week or have seen?
Wrinkle in Time.
Oh,
yeah,
well,
that's
coming
right.
out this week.
That's interesting. My wife, I guess, read that book at some point and said, "Oh, it says lash cam here." Okay,
amazing lash, amazing lash cam.
Okay, here we go. We'll get it.
I didn't know that you were saying.
See, it's because
okay.
Let's.
I know. It's not you, Richie. It's not you.
No.
All right.
It's fine. It's fine.
We better move on and say nothing about it. So, she said she didn't think she would like it because she didn't care for the book that much. But then the previews say she's really thinks it might be good.
Yep.
Looks good.
The review will be out Wednesday morning.
And you see the real Oprah in it.
So we got Shape of Water, Best Picture.
Mm-hmm.
Best Actor, Best Actress. Where did we go?
Gary Oldman, Best Actor, and Frances McDormand, Best Actress. Frances gave the speech of the night, where she made some excellent points about women in the industry and how when she had all the women nominees stand up and said, look at all these people, they all have stories to tell. Meet with them tomorrow morning, and and start financing their movies.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last thing where she said 2 words: inclusion writer, which prompted lots of people to jump to their Google to find out what that is. Essentially, it is if you're a star, put it in your contract that if you want me in your movie, you got to hire more women, more people of color, or at least make a good faith effort to do so. Which is a great way to bring others to use your if you're a star, you can use your clout to bring others up, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
And it also I mean, if you get a producer who objects to that, then you know that they're a jerk and you don't want to work with them.
Wow.
So
well, that might not be the only clue. But
well, I mean that and that they have pictures on their mantle of their good times with Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah. Did you like the winners? Like who won?
Yeah, I had no problem. It's one of those rare years where there wasn't a single one where I went, "Oh God, that movie won."
Why did that win?
Yeah, it was great all around. I mean, there's always with the Oscars, there's so many great little mini stories. There's the fact that Roger Deakins won cinematography for Blade Runner 2049, 14th time he'd been nominated and he never won. And he'd done, he's worked on Paul Thomas Anderson movies and Coen Brother movies, and he's like one of the most amazing camera people around. And finally, he gets his Oscar. So
I think that's what he said. Didn't he say finally?
Yeah, things like that. Tiffany Haddish wearing the same dress she wore on Saturday Night Live,
and she was very funny.
She's funny,
which was hilarious, and she looked good, and it was completely on her brand. It was like that was perfectly for her personality and her character. Jordan Peele winning for screenplay. Would love to have seen him win for director as well. Although I would have loved to have seen Greta Gerwig win for director. I mean, if I've got one disappointment, it's that Lady Bird did not win anything. And Lady Bird.
Laurie Metcalf could have won.
I was rooting for Laurie Metcalf, although I knew. I mean, Allison Janney was a lock pretty early on. So
this is a picture of Keegan Michael Key upon hearing that his friend won for best screenplay.
Yes, and I saw a picture of Key and Peele hugging each other at the Vanity Fair party last night afterwards, and yeah, I mean, very definitely
cute friends,
good friends, and you support each other, and it's very cool.
I don't have any cute friends.
You need to get some.
Yeah,
well, I don't have any friends.
I loved the oldest Oscar winner ever, James Ivory, won screenplay for Call Me by Your Name. I loved that our friend Geraldine Dreyfus at the Utah Film Center got name checked in the thank yous for Icarus, the documentary.
Well, let me ask you this about the controversy about Kobe Bryant and about Gary Oldman. What do you?
Yeah, that was kind of weird because I mean, this was obviously the Me Too Oscars. I mean, you had great moments like having Ashley Judd and Annabelle Sciorra and Salma Hayek all together, and women in the sisterhood of the Harvey Weinstein's pants, and the fact that they got up on stage and then there was a beautiful montage after, and that message was resonating all throughout when, Greta Gerwig is up on stage and everything else. And then, Kobe Bryant wins an Oscar.
And even makes a political comment.
And even makes a political comment. And it's like, for a film that, although beautiful, really belongs playing on the Jumbotron at the Staples Center.
Dear Basketball.
Yeah. So,
Dear Basketball.
I would have much rather seen Lou, the Pixar short that was attached to Cars 3 earlier this year, the Lost and Found thing that was cute. Or there was this really beautiful one called Negative Space. And you talked about nobody sees the shorts. Tower is still playing them this week, so
go see them.
Go over the Tower and check them out.
You can see them, Gina.
And I think other theaters as well have them going on this week. So.
All right.
Thank you, Sean, for coming in and talking about the Oscars. Sean, do you have wrap-up coverage written for the paper?
No.
No? Okay. All right.
Let the wires do it this time.
All right. sltrib.com for other fine reviews and articles by Sean Means.
All right. Let's see. Is that good enough? Oh, we got the promo. Should we do the promo?
Well, yeah.
All right.
Sure.
On Tuesday's Radio from Hell show.
Oh, it's me. At 6:45, it's an X poll. Have you ever sent a text, I did this recently, to the wrong person? We want to know all about it.
At 8 a.m., it's the 3-Bit Gaming segment with JD, new video game releases and ways to waste your time.
And then at 9, it's Tuesday Tunes with Todd. He will play a song he loves and talk about trains.
That's all on Tuesday's Radio from Hell show on X96.
Good enough?
Yep.
All right.
What?
Hi, John.
Hi.
Hey, guys.
Hi, what's your name?
How's it going? I'm John, by the way. Yeah, nice to meet you. I've been here like 5 years.
You know who you remind me of?
Who?
Tony Robbins.
What?
It's the teeth, right?
Yeah, it is.
No, it's the inspirational. No?
Yeah.
And my millions and millions of dollars.
Have you ever walked on coals? Hot coals?
No.
You're not Tony Robbins.
Does he do that?
Oh, yeah.
He makes other people do that.
That was his big...
That's even
I think
better.
he still does
which
that.
is smarter because he gets paid to have other people walk on hot coals.
Yeah, that was his big gimmick.
That's how he makes you believe in yourself. Because if you can do that, you can do anything.
Well, thanks to the diabetes, I do have reduced feeling in my feet.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, there you go. Good.
That's the benefit. That's the silver lining.
Mm-hmm.
Why
don't you go walk on
actual new teeth?
Why don't you go walk on coals, pal?
Okay.
You get your new teeth, real new teeth.
Real new teeth.
Because these are just the temps.
These are the temps, the dentures.
They look pretty good.
They're very white.
Yeah, they are.
Just like me.
Well, you'll eat enough Panda Express to yellow them up.
Actually, no. They say no. They will stay this color forever.
Really?
Yeah. The new ones won't be this white.
Oh, that's true.
They'll be a little bit more natural looking.
I have a cap, and it's lighter than the rest of my teeth.
Yeah.
Slightly lighter.
And they're made of zirconium, so they're bulletproof.
What?
Yeah.
Don't test that out.
Catch a bullet in your mouth?
That's what I said, and they said, "Yep."
If you can do that, you can do anything.
That's right.
You too can be great,
Tony Robbins. You catch a bullet in your mouth.
All right. Live long and prosper, bitches.
Don't you know who I am?
I'm mortuary whistleblower.
Wow. That's where you went, huh?
No.
I didn't have anything else.
All right. John Smith is next.
Please keep listening.
A 1-hour nonstop music wingding starts now. Utah's original alternative, X96.